Chosen ones, hear me. What I am about to share with you is not just another message. This is a divine revelation, a word you cannot afford to ignore. If you are here right now, it is not by coincidence. God Himself has led you to this moment because He knows this message is meant for you. Everything I am about to tell you is not my own wisdom. It is a divine instruction from the Almighty. The Word of God is alive, sharper than any two-edged sword. It carries the power to break chains, open doors, and lead you into your destiny. So listen closely. What you are about to hear has the power to transform your life forever. The Word of God is not just ink on paper. It breathes, it moves, it transforms. It is the same Word that spoke light into the darkness at the beginning of time. The same Word that healed the sick, raised the dead, and calmed the raging storms. And today, that same Word is coming to you, to breathe life into every dry place in your soul, to shatter every chain that has held you back, and to realign you with the purpose God set for you before the foundation of the world. So do not harden your heart. Do not let distractions steal this moment. Because when God speaks, mountains bow, demons tremble, and the heavens open. Right now, in this very moment, He is speaking directly to you. Will you listen? Will you receive it? I urge you, silence every distraction and open your heart. Receive this word with expectation, because when God speaks, everything changes. And today, change is coming to you. Have you ever found yourself asking, why is my life so difficult? Why does it feel like every burden is placed on my shoulders? Why am I constantly fighting battles that others seem to avoid? You look around and see people living with ease, seemingly untouched by the storms that rage around you. While others walk freely, you are carrying a weight so heavy that at times it feels unbearable. You struggle, you sacrifice, and you pour into others, yet you often feel unappreciated and unseen. You wonder why it always has to be you, the one who figures things out, the one who stands in the gap, the one who bears the weight of responsibility while others seem to drift through life without a care. Let me tell you why. Because you were chosen. You were never meant to walk an ordinary path. You were never meant to have an easy life. God has set you apart for something greater, and that greatness comes with a price. You are not just here to survive. You are here to build, to sustain, to multiply, and to establish something that will outlast you. That is why your battles are greater. That is why your storms are more intense. That is why the enemy has fought so hard to break you, because he knows the calling on your life is too powerful to be ignored. The struggles you face are not random. They are a necessary preparation. God is not punishing you. He is building you. Look at the foundation of a house. If the walls crack, they can be repaired. If the roof leaks, it can be fixed. But if the foundation is weak, the entire house will collapse. That is why your journey has been different, because you are a foundation. A family, a community, even a nation cannot stand without strong foundations, and you are one of those pillars. That is why you have endured rejection, isolation, and betrayal. That is why you have fought battles in silence while others remained oblivious. Because God is making you strong. Weak people cannot carry great responsibilities. Shallow people cannot uphold generations. Easily shaken people cannot be trusted with divine assignments. And so God has allowed you to be tested, refined, and molded into someone unshakable. When you look at the lives of those called by God, you will see the same pattern. Joseph was betrayed and thrown into a pit before he reached the palace. Moses was rejected and forced into the wilderness before he led Israel to freedom. David was hunted like a fugitive before he took his rightful place on the throne. Even Jesus himself, the Son of God, was despised, rejected, and abandoned in his darkest hour. Their struggles were not punishments, they were preparations. And your struggles are no different. The weight is heavy because the assignment is great. You are not just anyone. You are called. You are chosen. And if God has entrusted you with this burden, He has also given you the strength to carry it. Do not despise your battles. They are shaping you into the leader, the protector, the foundation that God designed you to be. Your hardship is not the end of your story. It is the preparation for something greater than you can imagine. When we think of a breadwinner, the world often defines it as someone who provides financially for their family. But in God's eyes, a true breadwinner is much more than just a provider of money and material needs. They are sustainers, multipliers, and preservers of destinies. They do not merely survive. They build, prepare, and ensure that what is entrusted to them is not only maintained but multiplied for future generations. One of the greatest biblical examples of a true breadwinner is Joseph. His story is not just about survival. It is about divine strategy, wisdom, and stewardship that saved not only a nation, but also the generations that followed. Joseph was betrayed by his own brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and thrown into prison. Yet through all of this, God was shaping him, preparing him for the moment when he would rise to become a leader who would sustain millions. During the years of abundance in Egypt, Joseph did not waste what he had. He stored it, managed it wisely, and prepared for the famine that was to come. Tells us that when the famine struck, while other lands suffered in lack, Egypt had food because of Joseph's foresight and divine wisdom. He did not just think about the present, he thought generationally. He did not just provide for his family, he positioned himself to sustain entire nations. This is what separates a mere provider from a true breadwinner. A provider gives what is needed for today. A breadwinner builds so that others will not lack tomorrow. Joseph's journey teaches us 3 critical lessons about what it means to be a true breadwinner. First, preparation is key. Breadwinners do not live just for the moment. They prepare for the future. Joseph did not wait until the famine came to act. He made strategic decisions long before the crisis arrived. Second, breadwinners know how to manage resources wisely. They are not wasteful, nor are they reckless. They recognize that what they have is not just for them, but for those they are called to sustain. Third, true breadwinners multiply. Joseph did not merely ensure survival. He used wisdom and divine strategy to turn a crisis into an opportunity for abundance. His leadership did not just feed people for a season, it preserved generations. This is your calling. You are not meant to live in survival mode, constantly struggling just to get by. You are meant to thrive, multiply, and build a legacy that will impact those who come after you. Like Joseph, God has placed in you the ability to create, sustain, and expand. But with that ability comes a responsibility to steward it wisely, to manage it with diligence, and to trust that God will provide the strength and wisdom needed to fulfill your assignment. What will you do with what God has given you? Will you merely survive, or will you rise as a true breadwinner, a foundation upon which generations can stand? The choice is yours. There are moments in life when the burdens we carry feel too heavy to bear. The pressures of responsibility, the weight of expectations, and the struggles that seem unending can leave us feeling exhausted and overwhelmed. In these moments, it's easy to wonder if we have the strength to continue. We question whether we're capable of handling everything that life throws our way. The nights feel longer, the days feel harder, and the hope that once burned brightly seems to flicker. But even in the heaviest moments, we are not alone. Throughout the Bible, we see countless examples of people who carried immense burdens. Moses, tasked with leading an entire nation through the wilderness. David, pursued by enemies while clinging to God's promises. Paul, imprisoned and beaten, yet steadfast in his faith. Yet in every struggle, God provided strength. He reminded them that they were never meant to carry their burdens alone. Jesus himself extended an invitation to the weary, saying, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." This promise is not just for those in the past, it is for us today. When the weight feels unbearable, we must remember that we were never designed to carry it by ourselves. God invites us to lay our worries at his feet, to trust that he is strong enough to sustain us. This does not mean our struggles will instantly disappear. but it does mean we are held by a God who walks with us through every storm. Instead of relying on our own strength, we can lean on His. Instead of being crushed by our burdens, we can surrender them to the one who has already overcome the world. So if you find yourself weary, take heart. You are not alone, and you are not forgotten. The same God who strengthened Moses, guided David, and upheld Paul is holding you too. Lay your burdens before Him and allow His peace to fill the places where fear and exhaustion once lived. The weight may be heavy, but His grace is always greater. Carrying the weight of your calling can feel overwhelming, but it is not meant to break you. It is meant to shape you. One of the first steps to walking in your calling without crumbling under its weight is to stop seeing yourself as a victim. Challenges will come, but they are not meant to destroy you. They are meant to refine you. Instead of asking, "Why me?" Зрение. Сдвиньте перспективу и спросите, «Господь, как я должен распоряжаться этим хорошо?» Every difficulty is an opportunity for growth, and every hardship is shaping you into the person God has called you to be. Another key to sustaining your calling is understanding that you cannot pour from an empty cup. Even Jesus, who carried the greatest mission of all, regularly withdrew to pray. Taking time to recharge is not a sign of weakness, it is wisdom. When you prioritize your spiritual and emotional well-being, you are better equipped to fulfill your calling with endurance and joy. Beyond thinking about today, you must also think generationally. Proverbs 13:22 reminds us that a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. Your calling is not just about you, it is about those who will come after you. What you build today will impact future generations. Whether through your faith, your obedience, or the legacy you leave, your calling is part of a much bigger picture. Keeping this perspective will help you persevere when challenges arise. At times, you will be misunderstood. This is a reality that even great biblical leaders faced. Joseph was despised by his own brothers. David's family doubted his ability. Jesus himself was rejected in his hometown. Not everyone will understand your calling, and that is okay. You do not need validation from everyone, only faithfulness to the one who called you. Above all, remember that God is your ultimate source. You are not the one who sustains your calling. He is. Philippians 4:19 assures us that God will supply all your needs according to His riches and glory. You do not have to carry this weight alone. Surrender your burdens, trust in His provision, and walk forward with confidence, knowing that He who called you is faithful to sustain you. Heavenly Father, I come before you today, lifting up every person listening to this message, every man, every woman who carries the weight of provision for their family. Lord, you see their struggles, their silent prayers, and the burdens they carry. Many are weary, many feel overwhelmed, but you are their strength, their refuge, and their provider. Right now, in the mighty name of Jesus, I declare a breakthrough over their lives. Father, I pray that every chain of struggle be broken. Let every spirit of heaviness be lifted, and every financial burden be overturned. You are Jehovah Jireh, our provider, and I trust that you are already making a way where there seems to be no way. No attack of the enemy will prosper against them, for you are their shield and defender. Strengthen them, Lord, not just physically but emotionally and spiritually. Fill their hearts with peace and their minds with clarity. Let them know that they are not alone in this journey. Pour out supernatural provision, divine favor, and unexpected blessings over their lives. Open doors of opportunity, multiply the work of their hands, and guide them in wisdom as they steward their resources. Let them walk in victory, prosperity, and the fullness of their divine purpose. May they never forget that they are not just providing for their families. They are laying a foundation of faith, perseverance, and legacy. And Lord, I thank you for them. Thank you for their sacrifices, their love, and their dedication. May they feel seen, valued, and appreciated, not just by their families, but by you, the one who rewards those who trust in you. I declare over them today, they are chosen, they are covered, they are victorious. In Jesus' mighty name, Amen. If this word spoke to you, let's subscribe, share, and sow into this mission, because you are not just a breadwinner, you are a history maker. God bless you. Have you ever felt it? That deep, unshakable knowing within you, a fire that refuses to be extinguished? Since childhood, you've sensed it, though you could never quite explain it. A difference, a calling, a force within you that sets you apart from the rest. You have always known that you do not think like others, nor do you feel as they do. The places where they find comfort feel like a prison to you. Their dreams do not stir your soul. Their ambitions seem hollow, their pursuits meaningless. While they eagerly follow the paths laid before them, something in you resists. Something in you knows that you were not meant to fit in. But why? Why does the world not understand you? Why does your spirit feel misplaced in a realm that does not move as you do? The answer, chosen one, is both simple and profound. You are not 100% human. That statement may challenge everything you have been taught. It may shake the foundation of your understanding. But if you quiet the noise of the world, if you listen with your spirit instead of your mind, you will realize that this truth is not new to you. It has always been there, waiting to be unlocked. This is not a metaphor. This is not an exaggeration. This is truth. There is something within you that transcends human comprehension, something beyond the limitations of flesh and blood. Your spirit is not of this world. Your origin is not of the earth. The very essence that flows through you is mixed with something divine, something that cannot be explained by human logic. Divinity itself has touched you. You are a vessel of something far greater than what the world perceives, a mystery hidden from the eyes of the ordinary but revealed to those who have ears to hear. Yet the world has tried to convince you otherwise. It has told you that you are just like everyone else, that you must conform, that you must follow its systems, its structures, its rules. It has tried to silence the fire inside you, to make you doubt your difference, to make you question your purpose. But despite all its efforts, something in you has always resisted. Something in you refuses to conform, refuses to accept mediocrity, refuses to settle for the ordinary. That is because you were never meant to. This message is not for everyone. Many will hear these words and dismiss them. Many will remain blind to the truth, too entangled in the illusion of this world to see beyond it. But you, if you are truly chosen, will feel the weight of these words in your soul. So open your heart, open your mind. Let the fire of truth consume every lie that has been planted within you. Let it burn away every false identity the world has tried to place upon you. Let it awaken what has been dormant inside you for too long. Because today is the day you remember who you are. Today is the day you step into the fullness of your identity. Today, you rise. If you are not 100% human, then what are you? To answer this question, we must go back to the very beginning. Then God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion." What does it mean to be made in the image of God? It means that you are more than just flesh and blood, more than just a physical body navigating a temporary world. It means that your true nature is spirit first, eternal, limitless, and connected to something far greater than human existence. This is why you feel things that others do not. This is why you see beyond what is in front of you, why your heart longs for something more, something beyond this life. You were never meant to be confined by the limitations of this world because your origin is not of the earth. Your very essence carries the imprint of the Creator Himself, a divine signature woven into the fabric of your being. This is why you have always felt different, why you have never fully belonged. The world operates on a frequency that does not resonate with you. It moves in patterns that seem unnatural, bound by limitations that you were never meant to accept. While others are satisfied with what they can see and touch, your spirit yearns for something deeper. You perceive things that others overlook, you sense truths that they dismiss, and you dream beyond the boundaries they accept as reality. You are not merely human, you are spirit wrapped in flesh, an eternal being having a temporary experience, a creation of divine intention placed in a world that was never meant to contain you, and yet the enemy works tirelessly to make you forget this truth. The world has conditioned you to believe that you are nothing more than flesh and bone, that your worth is determined by earthly measures, that you must conform to the expectations of society. It has tried to silence the voice inside you that whispers, "You were made for more." It has tried to drown out the calling that stirs within your soul. But no matter how much the world tries to bury it, the fire inside you cannot be extinguished. The truth of your identity will always rise. This is why you feel restless. This is why you cannot find fulfillment in the things that satisfy others. This is why, no matter how much you try to fit in, something always pulls you away. Because you were never meant to live an ordinary life. You were never meant to be like the rest. You were chosen, set apart, marked by heaven with a purpose greater than what the world can understand. And the moment you fully realize who you are, everything changes. You will no longer be bound by the limitations of this world. You will no longer live beneath your calling. You will no longer shrink back in fear or uncertainty. Instead, you will rise. You will walk in dominion, because you are not just human. You are divine by design. You carry the breath of God inside you, and when you awaken to this truth, the world will never see you the same way again. There are two types of people walking this earth, though they may appear the same on the outside. The first group consists of those who are of the world. Their minds, desires, and ambitions are tied to earthly systems. They live by what they can see, touch, and control, measuring their success by material gain, social validation, and temporary pleasures. Their entire existence is rooted in what is tangible, and their decisions are dictated by what the world deems acceptable, desirable, or powerful. They chase after wealth, status, and approval, believing that these things define their worth. They are bound by the limits of human understanding, confined to the cycle of birth, survival, and death, never questioning if there is more beyond what their eyes can perceive. These are the ones who belong to the world, shaped by its ways, ruled by its principles, and ultimately destined to pass away with it. Then there is the second group, those who are not of this world. These are the chosen ones, the ones whose spirits were set apart before time itself. Though they walk among the people of this earth, they are different. Their thoughts do not conform to the patterns of the world. Their desires do not align with its fleeting pleasures, and their hearts are attuned to a frequency that others cannot hear. Their existence is not defined by what is seen, but by what is eternal. They are governed by faith rather than fear, by divine truth rather than human opinion. They are called to a higher standard, a greater purpose, a destiny that extends beyond this life. Jesus himself spoke of this distinction when he said, "They are not of the world, even as I am not of the world." If you have always felt like an outsider, like a stranger in your own land, it is because your spirit was not born here. Your origin is divine, your purpose is eternal, and no matter how much the world tries to mold you into its image, you will never truly belong to it. This is why you feel resistance. This is why you face rejection. This is why you find yourself at odds with a world that does not understand you, because your essence does not come from this place. And this, chosen one, is both your greatest strength and your greatest challenge. You were never meant to blend in. You were never meant to follow the crowd. You were never meant to be comfortable in a world that is fading away. You were set apart, chosen by God, designed for something greater than what this world can offer. So stop trying to fit in where you do not belong. Stop seeking validation from those who cannot recognize what is inside you. You were not meant to be like them. You are meant to stand out, to lead, to walk in power, and to fulfill the divine calling that has been placed upon your life. The time has come. The world is shifting. The heavens are stirring, and those who have been asleep are beginning to wake up. For too long, the chosen ones have wandered in confusion, searching for answers, questioning their identity, and wrestling with the weight of their calling. Many have felt lost, isolated, rejected, misunderstood by the world around them. They have spent years trying to conform, trying to fit into a society that was never meant to embrace them. But now, something is happening. A divine awakening is taking place. The chosen ones are beginning to remember who they are. No more doubt, no more fear, no more hesitation. The veil is being lifted and the truth is being revealed. You are not ordinary. You were never meant to live like everyone else. You were never meant to walk the same path as the rest of the world. You were called, set apart, destined for something far greater than the limitations this world has tried to place upon you. And now, the time has come for you to rise. The enemy has worked tirelessly to keep you blind to your true identity. He has tried to drown you in fear, in distractions, in cycles of delay and confusion. He has sent people to discourage you, to make you question yourself, to weaken your spirit. He has used rejection, failure, and pain to convince you that you are forgotten, unworthy, powerless. But he was afraid of this moment, because he knew that one day you would wake up. He knew that one day you would finally understand who you are, and when that day came, nothing would be able to stop you. That day is now. Your struggles were not meant to break you. They were meant to shape you. Every battle you have faced was a training ground for the power you are about to walk in. Every rejection, every hardship, every painful experience was preparing you for the moment you step into your divine purpose. You are not weak. You are not forgotten. You are not defeated. You are a warrior in the kingdom of God, a force that the darkness has tried to silence. But it has failed, because the fire inside you cannot be extinguished. The world will not understand what is happening inside you. People will question you. They will try to pull you back into their systems, their traditions, their expectations. They will tell you to be practical, to be realistic, to settle for a life that is safe and comfortable. But you were never meant to be comfortable. You were meant to change the world. You were meant to shake the foundations of the earth with the power that has been placed inside you. You were meant to walk in authority, in wisdom, in divine favor. This is your awakening. No longer will you live in fear. No longer will you shrink back. No longer will you accept mediocrity. The kingdom is calling. The time is now. You must rise. You must walk boldly in your purpose. You must take your place. The enemy has tried to stop you, but he has failed. Nothing can hold you back now. Nothing can silence you. You are chosen. You are set apart. You are anointed for such a time as this. So rise, chosen one. Step into your destiny. The world is about to see your power, and nothing will ever be the same again. If this message has stirred something deep within you, if your spirit has resonated with these words and a fire has been ignited inside you, then do not let this moment pass. Declare it now. Speak it into existence. Type these words in the comments. I know who I am. Let this be a statement of faith, a declaration of awakening, a confirmation that you are no longer bound by the limitations the world has tried to place upon you. You are not lost. You are not ordinary. You are chosen, set apart, and destined for something greater. This is your moment to step into the truth of who you were always meant to be. I want to take a moment to thank you for being here, for opening your heart to this message, and for walking this journey of spiritual awakening. Your presence is not an accident. You were led here for a reason. You are part of a movement, a divine calling that is gathering the chosen ones, awakening them to their true identity. And your engagement, whether through a comment, a like, or sharing this message, is helping spread this truth to others who are still searching. To those who have already subscribed, your support is invaluable. You are not just following a channel. You are joining a community of awakened souls who refuse to live in darkness. who choose truth over deception, purpose over confusion. If you have not yet subscribed, I invite you to do so now. Click that button, turn on notifications, and stand with us as we continue to awaken and empower those who are ready to walk in their divine calling. Every action you take, every comment, every share, every like, is not just a gesture. It is a ripple effect that reaches people who need this message. And for that, I am truly grateful. This is just the beginning of your journey. Walk boldly, stand firm, and never forget, you are not of this world. You are chosen. Now let the world hear you. Declare it in the comments. I know who I am. Let this be your moment of power, your statement of faith, and your first step into the life you were always meant to live. Let me begin by asking you a question that may seem simple at first, but I want you to truly reflect on it. What are you allowing into your life right now that could be silently lowering your vibration? Because here's the truth. Your life, your energy, and your reality are all deeply intertwined with the vibrational frequency you hold. Everything you touch, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, either elevates you or weighs you down. As a chosen one, your energy is sacred. It is the light that fuels your purpose, the force that attracts blessings, and the key to manifesting the reality you were destined to live. But if you are serious about stepping into your purpose, if you are truly committed to maintaining high vibrations, you must be mindful of the things that lower your frequency. Now, have you ever felt a heaviness in your spirit after engaging with something or someone that drained your energy? That sense of unease when you ignored your intuition and interacted with something that just didn't feel right? Yet how often do we dismiss those feelings? How often do we convince ourselves that it's harmless, that it doesn't really matter, that we can rise above it? But here's something you must understand. Energy is contagious. Vibrations are real, and everything in this world, from people to ideas to emotions, carries a frequency. When you engage with something of a lower vibration, no matter how strong you think you are, it affects you. It pulls you down, sometimes so subtly that you don't even realize it until it's too late. So let's get into it. If you are truly dedicated to keeping your vibrations high, there are certain things you must never touch. The first and most dangerous thing you must avoid is toxic relationships. And this isn't just about romantic relationships. It extends to every connection in your life, including friendships, family members, co-workers, and even acquaintances who bring negativity into your space. Toxicity does not always come in obvious forms. Sometimes it hides behind the mask of familiarity, obligation, or even love. But regardless of how it presents itself, one undeniable truth remains. These relationships have the power to lower your vibration, drain your energy, and pull you away from your highest self. You know exactly who these people are. They are the ones who criticize more than they encourage, who gossip instead of uplift, who seem to take more from you than they ever give. These are the individuals who operate from a place of negativity, who constantly complain, judge, and spread fear. And while it's easy to justify keeping them around, because of shared history, because they are family, because you don't want to seem unkind, the reality is that every relationship is an energy exchange. Every time you engage with someone, you are absorbing some of their energy, while also giving away some of your own. If you are constantly surrounded by those who vibrate at a lower frequency, it is only a matter of time before their energy begins to influence you, subtly shifting your thoughts, emotions, and even your perception of yourself. Yet, despite knowing how draining these connections can be, many of us continue to hold on. Why? Because of fear. The fear of being alone, the fear of confrontation, or the fear of change. We tell ourselves that we owe these relationships something, that walking away would be selfish or cruel. Some of us believe we can fix them, that if we just love them enough, support them enough, or guide them in the right direction, they will change. But here's a hard truth that many chosen ones struggle to accept. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and you cannot save someone who refuses to save themselves. No matter how much love and light you bring into a relationship, if the other person is unwilling to rise, they will only pull you down in the process. And here's the dangerous part. This kind of energy drain does not always happen suddenly or dramatically. More often than not, it is a slow and subtle erosion of your spirit. One negative conversation at a time. One instance of self-doubt planted by their words. One moment of absorbing their pessimism and carrying it as your own. Before you know it, you find yourself more anxious, more doubtful, more exhausted than before, wondering why your light feels dimmer and your energy feels heavier. So how do you break free? The first step is awareness. Recognizing the relationships that are no longer serving your highest good is essential. Pay attention to how you feel after interacting with someone. Do you feel uplifted, inspired, and aligned? Or do you feel drained, frustrated, and disconnected from yourself? Your emotions are your greatest guide. They will always reveal who is adding to your energy and who is depleting it. Once you have identified the toxic connections in your life, the next step is the hardest one: letting go. This does not always mean cutting people off completely, but it does mean setting firm boundaries and protecting your energy. Some people will not understand your decision to step back, and that is okay. You do not owe anyone an explanation for choosing peace over chaos, light over darkness, or self-preservation over self-sacrifice. This journey is not easy. You may grieve the loss of certain relationships, even if you know they were unhealthy. But remember this: growth often requires separation. Just as a tree must shed its dead leaves to make room for new growth, you must release what is no longer serving you to make space for what is meant to flourish in your life. Protecting your vibration is not selfish. It is necessary. Your energy is sacred, and it should only be shared with those who respect and honor it. If someone is not contributing to your growth, your joy, and your higher purpose, then they do not deserve a front-row seat in your life. At the end of the day, being a chosen one means being discerning about who and what you allow into your energetic space. Not everyone who is drawn to your light is meant to walk this path with you. Some people come into your life as lessons, while others are meant to walk beside you as blessings. The key is knowing the difference and having the courage to release anything that no longer aligns with your highest self. Now, let's talk about something even more subtle but just as dangerous: the content you consume. In today's world, we are constantly bombarded with information. Think about how much time we spend scrolling through social media, watching TV, listening to music, reading the news, or even just mindlessly absorbing whatever pops up on our screens. Content is everywhere, and it never stops. The question is, what are you allowing into your mind? Most people don't realize that every word, every image, every sound carries a vibration. Everything you expose yourself to has the potential to either elevate your energy or lower it. Some content is uplifting, inspiring, and aligned with the frequency you are trying to hold. But much of it is not. In fact, a significant portion of the content we consume daily is designed to do the exact opposite. It is programmed to keep you in fear, trap you in comparison, and hold you in a mindset of judgment and lack. Social media, for example, can be one of the biggest culprits. We scroll mindlessly, consuming a mix of negativity, unrealistic standards, and carefully curated versions of people's lives that make us feel as though we are falling behind. Without realizing it, we begin to compare ourselves to these filtered realities, questioning our own worth and accomplishments. We see headlines designed to provoke anxiety, influencers promoting unattainable lifestyles, and endless opinions that may not align with our truth, yet somehow infiltrate our subconscious. And the scariest part? We don't even realize it's happening. We tell ourselves, it's just entertainment, it's just background noise, or it doesn't really affect me. But here's the truth. The content you consume becomes the thoughts you think, and the thoughts you think shape the reality you create. Every single time you expose yourself to fear-based news, gossip, or negativity, you are allowing that energy into your mental space. Every time you listen to music with lyrics that glorify pain, anger, or self-destruction, you are reinforcing those emotions within yourself. Every time you engage with content that promotes scarcity, insecurity, or division, you are programming your mind to see the world through that lens. And it doesn't just stop at social media or music. The movies you watch, the books you read, the conversations you engage in, all of it contributes to your mental and emotional state. If you are not consciously choosing what you allow into your mind, then the world is programming it for you. So, ask yourself, are you consuming content that elevates you or content that lowers you? Because here's the thing, your mind is the most powerful tool you have for creating your reality. Whatever you feed it consistently will become the foundation of your thoughts, emotions, and ultimately, your actions. If you constantly expose yourself to negativity, fear, and division, you will begin to see the world through that perspective. But if you choose to fill your mind with wisdom, inspiration, and high vibrational content, your perception of life will shift accordingly. The good news? You have control. You get to decide what you engage with. You get to curate your mental diet just as carefully as you would your physical one. Just as you wouldn't willingly consume poison, you must learn to avoid mental toxins that weaken your energy and keep you stuck in lower frequencies. Here's how you can start protecting your mind. Be intentional about your content choices. Before engaging with anything, whether it's a movie, a book, or a social media post, ask yourself, how will this affect my energy? Does this align with the vibration I want to hold? If it doesn't serve you, don't engage. Unfollow negativity. Social media can be a powerful tool when used wisely. If a page, account, or channel constantly spreads fear, drama, or unrealistic comparisons, unfollow it. Surround your feed with content that uplifts, educates, and inspires. Limit news consumption. Staying informed is important, but being bombarded with fear-driven headlines daily is not. The media thrives on sensationalism, and constant exposure to negative news can leave you feeling anxious, hopeless, and drained. Choose when and how you receive information, and focus on solutions rather than problems. Be mindful of music and entertainment. Lyrics, stories, and images have a profound effect on the subconscious mind. Pay attention to what you're listening to and watching. If the energy behind it is destructive, chaotic, or heavy, consider choosing something more uplifting. Prioritize real-world experiences. Instead of spending hours consuming content online, engage with real life. Read books that expand your mind. Have meaningful conversations with people who inspire you. Spend time in nature, meditate, and connect with yourself. At the end of the day, your mind is sacred space. Guard it fiercely. The world will always try to pull you into distraction, fear, and comparison, but you have the power to choose what you engage with. The more intentional you are about the content you consume, the higher your vibration will be, and the more aligned you will become with the life you were meant to live. But it's not just the people you surround yourself with or the content you consume that you need to be mindful of. It's also your own habits. The things you do when no one is watching, the choices you make daily, the way you treat your body, your mind, and your spirit. All of these play a significant role in shaping your energy. Whether you realize it or not, every action you take carries a vibration. Some actions strengthen your energy, elevate your frequency, and bring you closer to your higher self. Others weaken you, drain your vitality, and pull you away from your true purpose. So let's talk about the aspects of your daily life that silently influence your vibration. Number 1. The foods you eat, fuel or poison. Your body is the vessel that carries your energy in this physical world. What you put into it directly affects how you feel, how you think, and how you function. Yet so many of us treat food as an afterthought, consuming whatever is convenient rather than what is nourishing. But here's something to consider. Food carries energy, just like everything else. Fresh, whole, and nutrient-dense foods, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, and natural, unprocessed ingredients are alive with energy. They fuel your body in a way that aligns with your natural state of vitality. On the other hand, highly processed foods, artificial ingredients, excessive sugar, and chemical-laden junk food are low vibrational and deplete your body's natural energy reserves. These foods may give you a temporary sense of satisfaction, but over time, they leave you feeling sluggish, drained, and disconnected from your highest self. Ask yourself, are you eating foods that nourish your body, or are you consuming things that leave you feeling heavy and lethargic? Because here's the truth. The more you fuel your body with high vibrational nutrition, the more aligned you become. Your mind becomes clearer, your intuition sharpens, and your physical energy strengthens, all of which contribute to maintaining a high frequency. Number 2, the thoughts you entertain. Your mind is a magnet. Your thoughts are like seeds. Whatever you plant in your mind will eventually grow into your reality. Every thought you entertain, whether positive or negative, carries a frequency. The question is, are you feeding your mind with empowering thoughts, or are you allowing negativity to take over? So many people unconsciously program their minds with self-doubt, fear, and limitation. They replay past mistakes, focus on what could go wrong, and tell themselves stories about why they're not good enough, not ready, or not capable. Over time, these thoughts shape their entire perception of life, creating a cycle of low vibrational energy that becomes difficult to break free from. But here's the good news. You have control over your thoughts. You are not obligated to believe everything your mind tells you. You have the power to redirect your focus, to reframe negativity, and to choose thoughts that align with your highest self. Ask yourself, do you wake up with a mindset of gratitude and possibility, or do you immediately focus on stress and problems? Your mind is a magnet. What you focus on, you attract. If you continuously allow yourself to dwell in negativity, you will lower your vibration and struggle to manifest the life you desire. But if you fill your mind with empowering thoughts, positive affirmations, and high-frequency beliefs, you will elevate yourself to a state of alignment and abundance. Number 3, how you spend your time. Purpose or distraction. Time is one of the most valuable resources you have, yet many people waste it on things that do not serve them, mindlessly scrolling through social media, binge-watching TV shows that add no value, engaging in gossip, or distracting themselves with activities that provide temporary satisfaction but no long-term fulfillment. Your energy follows your focus. If you spend most of your time on low vibrational activities, your energy will reflect that. But if you consciously choose to invest your time in things that uplift, inspire, and align with your purpose, you will naturally operate at a higher frequency. Ask yourself, are you spending your time on things that align with your purpose, or are you letting distractions consume you? The way you spend your time reflects what you value. If you truly want to maintain a high vibration, you must be intentional with your energy and ensure that your actions align with your higher self. Number 4, living in alignment with your truth. Nothing lowers your vibration faster than betraying your own truth. When you say one thing but do another, when you ignore your intuition, when you compromise your values for the sake of convenience, approval, or fear, you create an internal disconnect. And that disconnect is like a leak in your energy field. It may be subtle at first, but over time, it drains you in ways you may not even realize. Every time you ignore your inner guidance, every time you allow external influences to dictate your choices, and every time you sacrifice your authenticity to fit in or please others, you weaken your energetic alignment. The result? A feeling of unease, dissatisfaction, and a loss of connection to your higher self. But here's the empowering truth. You can always realign. You can always choose to return to your truth, to honor your intuition, and to live in a way that reflects who you truly are. Ask yourself, are you making decisions that reflect your true values and beliefs, or are you allowing outside forces to dictate your path? Your energy is too valuable to be wasted on anything that is not in alignment with your soul's purpose. If something doesn't feel right, it's a sign that it's lowering your vibration. Honor that feeling. Protect your energy. Live in alignment with your truth, and your vibration will naturally rise. But let's go even deeper, because it's not just external things that lower your vibration. It's the internal ones too. The unseen burdens you carry within you, the thoughts you replay, the emotions you refuse to release. These can be even more damaging than the people or environments around you. How often do we allow our past to define us? We replay old wounds in our minds, reliving painful experiences as if feeling them again will somehow change what has already happened. We hold on to resentment, unable to forgive, believing that keeping the pain alive will somehow serve justice. We carry guilt over things we cannot undo, shame over moments where we fell short, and fear that we are still not enough. And then, there are the stories we tell ourselves, the ones that keep us small. I'm not good enough. I don't deserve happiness. I'll never succeed. I'm too broken to heal. These thoughts become chains, silently anchoring you to a lower vibration. They are insidious because they operate beneath the surface, shaping your perception of yourself and the world around you. And the longer you hold on to them, the more power they gain over you. But here's the truth you need to remember. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are not your fears. Every time you dwell on them, you are handing over your power, allowing them to dim your light and dictate your future. But you were never meant to live in limitation. You are more powerful than you realize. And the moment you choose to release fear, doubt, and the stories of lack, you begin to rise. You step into your true power. You reclaim your energy. And when you do, you vibrate at a frequency that attracts healing, abundance, and purpose. So now let me ask you again. What are you willing to let go of to protect your vibration? Are you ready to release toxic relationships that drain your energy and keep you stuck in cycles of negativity? Will you step away from negative content that fills your mind with fear, doubt, and comparison? Are you willing to break free from self-sabotaging habits that hold you back from stepping into your highest potential? And perhaps most importantly, are you ready to free yourself from fear and limiting beliefs? The silent forces that whisper you're not enough, that keep you playing small when you were meant to shine? Because the truth is, the cost of holding on to these things is far greater than the temporary discomfort of letting them go. Growth requires release. Transformation demands space. And when you finally decide to let go of what no longer serves you, when you create room for higher frequencies to enter your life, you will begin to experience a powerful shift. Your energy will feel lighter, your path will feel clearer, and your purpose will feel closer than ever before. Your energy is sacred. Protect it. Honor it. Guard it fiercely. Because the world needs your light now more than ever. You were not meant to dim your radiance to make others comfortable. You were not meant to live in fear, in lack, in self-doubt. You were meant to rise. And today, you have the power to choose that path. If this message resonated with you, let me know in the comments. What are you releasing today to protect your vibration? And if you're ready to step fully into your power, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another message to elevate your energy. Let's rise together. Have you ever paused to wonder why cats seem so drawn to certain people? Why they choose their companions with an almost supernatural precision? It's as if they see beyond the physical world, sensing something hidden from ordinary human perception. Could it be that they recognize a deeper energy, a vibration that aligns with their own mystical nature? More than just pets, cats are spiritual guardians, silent watchers of the unseen, and protectors of those walking a divine path. If you've ever felt an inexplicable connection with these mysterious creatures, it may not be mere coincidence. It may be a sign of your elevated spiritual energy. In this video, we will uncover the incredible role cats play in the lives of those with a special purpose. We'll explore why they are drawn to individuals with heightened vibrations, how they balance and protect energy, and why their presence in your life is far more significant than you may realize. Have you ever had an unforgettable experience with a cat, one that felt more like fate than chance? Share your story in the comments below. And if you resonate with this message, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more insights on the spiritual mysteries that shape our lives. Turn on notifications, leave a like, and let's unravel this fascinating mystery together. Cats possess an extraordinary sensitivity to the world around them. Have you ever noticed how they seem to predict events before any visible signs appear? This is not simply a heightened awareness. It's an innate connection to energies that exist beyond human understanding. Unlike other animals, cats don't just react to physical stimuli. They detect shifts in the unseen realms, sensing vibrations in the environment and within individuals. When you feel anxious, sad, or uncertain, your cat knows. They pick up on the energy you emit, responding not just with affection, but with a deep, knowing presence. Now, imagine how much more profound their awareness becomes when they encounter someone with a unique spiritual light, someone who carries the energy of a chosen one. To cats, your aura is like a beacon in the darkness, an unmistakable frequency that stands out among the rest. They do not choose their human companions randomly. Instead, they gravitate toward those who vibrate at higher frequencies, those whose energy aligns with their own. And once they choose you, they become your guardian, balancing and harmonizing the energies within you and around you. Have you ever noticed a cat rubbing against you when you're feeling unwell or emotionally drained? Or perhaps you've seen them curl up exactly where you experience discomfort, whether it's a headache, stomach pain, or an overwhelming sense of fatigue? This behavior is far more than simple affection. It is a profound act of energetic healing. Cats have an extraordinary ability to detect subtle shifts in energy. When they rub against you, they are not merely seeking attention or marking their territory, they are engaging in a process of energy transfer. By doing so, they absorb negativity, neutralize stagnant vibrations, and help realign your energetic field, restoring balance to your body and spirit. This innate ability makes them natural healers, silently working to stabilize your well-being. Beyond their interactions with people, cats also play a significant role in harmonizing the energy of a space. Have you ever noticed your cat frequently resting in a specific corner of a room, on a piece of furniture, or near an object with deep sentimental or spiritual value? These choices are not random. Cats are naturally drawn to areas where energy is either highly concentrated or in need of purification. They instinctively gravitate toward these spaces, absorbing excess energy, dispelling negativity, and ensuring that the environment remains balanced. For those who possess heightened spiritual sensitivity, this connection is even more profound. Cats act as silent sentinels, watching over your energy, shielding you from unseen forces, and providing an anchor to keep you grounded. Their presence is a subtle yet powerful reminder that you are never alone in your spiritual journey. Your feline guardian is always by your side, working in ways beyond human comprehension to protect and nurture your energy. Have you ever locked eyes with a cat and felt as though they were looking deep into your soul? Unlike other animals, cats don't just observe, they see. Their gaze is piercing, almost otherworldly, as if they are perceiving something beyond your physical form, something hidden within the layers of your energy and essence. It is in these moments that you may realize a truth long overlooked. Cats recognize the unseen. Unlike dogs who eagerly express affection toward nearly everyone, cats are selective in forming deep connections. They do not bond with just anyone. Rather, they reserve their trust and companionship for those who align with their own unique frequency. Their nature is discerning, and their attachment is never random. Instead, it is guided by something beyond the physical, a resonance, a recognition of spiritual kinship. This is why so many spiritually awakened individuals find themselves drawn to cats, and why cats, in turn, are mysteriously drawn to them. It is a silent acknowledgement, a deep unspoken understanding that goes beyond words. The energy of a chosen one stands out, shining like a beacon in the unseen realms. And cats, with their heightened perception, gravitate toward it naturally. When a cat chooses you, it is not just a casual bond. It is an alignment of souls. They do more than offer companionship. They attune themselves to your vibration, mirroring your energy, adjusting their own frequency to match yours. This creates a profound spiritual bond, a mutual exchange that strengthens both of you. Over time, this connection deepens, allowing the cat to act as both a guide and a guardian, subtly enhancing your journey and helping you navigate the mysteries of the unseen world. Have you ever noticed that during life's most difficult or transformative moments, your cat becomes unusually present? Whether you're going through emotional turmoil, experiencing stress, or navigating a major transition, your feline companion seems to sense it. Without any words, without being asked, they stay close, watching over you with quiet attentiveness. It's as if they instinctively know when you need them most, offering their presence as a silent but powerful form of support. This is because cats act as natural energy filters, constantly sensing and interacting with the unseen vibrations around them. As a chosen one, your heightened spiritual energy attracts both light and darkness, positive forces that guide you and challenges that test you. Your aura radiates brightly, but with that brilliance comes an increased sensitivity to external energies, some uplifting, others draining. Cats serve as guardians of energy, silently absorbing, neutralizing, and balancing the energetic field surrounding you. If you've ever noticed your cat following you more than usual, positioning itself near you during meditation, or curling up beside you when you feel exhausted, understand that this is no coincidence. They are actively working to stabilize your energy, shielding you from disruptions that could throw you off your path. It's also common to see cats staring into seemingly empty spaces or tracking something invisible with their eyes. This isn't random behavior. It's their ability to perceive the spiritual realm just as clearly as the physical one. They detect presences, entities, and energy shifts beyond human comprehension. Often, they act as barriers between you and unseen influences, ensuring that nothing interferes with your spiritual journey. With a cat by your side, you are never alone. They are your silent sentinels, always watching, always protecting. Cats do not just protect you, they protect the entire space you inhabit. Their presence in your home is more than companionship. It is a form of energetic guardianship, a silent but powerful force that maintains balance and harmony. Have you ever noticed how the atmosphere in your home feels lighter and more peaceful when a cat is present? It's as if their very existence transforms the energy of a space, turning an ordinary house into a sanctuary of peace and protection. Unlike other animals, cats are highly sensitive to spiritual frequencies, and they instinctively work to keep their environment energetically clean. One of the most fascinating aspects of a cat's behavior is how they select specific spots in the home, places they return to repeatedly, often without any apparent reason. To the untrained eye, it may seem like they are simply choosing comfortable places to rest, but in reality, these locations are often energetic hotspots, areas where energy accumulates, flows, or even stagnates. By lying in these spots, cats act as filters, absorbing, transmuting, and redistributing energy to maintain balance. Have you ever seen your cat suddenly relocate from one sleeping spot to another? Or perhaps they seem to prefer resting near a doorway, in a quiet corner, or even next to objects that hold sentimental or spiritual significance? These choices are never random. Cats sense energy shifts and instinctively position themselves where their presence is needed most. Beyond their ability to harmonize a space, cats possess another incredible gift of healing: their purring. This sound, often associated with contentment, is much more than a simple expression of comfort. It is a healing frequency, a vibration that soothes not only their own bodies, but also those of the people around them. Scientific studies have even shown that a cat's purr operates at frequencies between 25 and 150 Hz, which are known to promote healing, reduce stress, and even aid in physical recovery. When a cat purrs near you, it's not just an affectionate gesture, it's an energetic transmission, a way of raising your vibration and helping you restore your own inner balance. If you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, or physically drained, a purring cat can act as a natural form of energy healing, grounding you, calming your nervous system, and offering silent reassurance that everything is as it should be. In essence, cats do more than simply share your space. They elevate and protect it. Their presence creates a shield of harmony, ensuring that your home remains a place of refuge, healing, and spiritual alignment. Whether they are lying in a strategic location, purring beside you, or simply watching over the energy that flows through your home, these mystical felines are guardians of unseen forces, ever present, ever protective, and deeply connected to the energy of those they choose to share their lives with. There is something almost otherworldly about the way cats move through life. They glide effortlessly through the world, exuding a quiet wisdom, as if they are in constant connection with something beyond what our eyes can see. Their presence feels ancient, their gaze filled with knowing, their behaviors often seeming to hint at truths beyond the tangible. They are not merely animals, they are messengers of the unseen, subtle guides who help us align with our higher purpose. Those who walk a spiritual path often feel a profound connection with cats, sensing that these creatures are far more aware of the invisible realms than we are. It is no coincidence that throughout history, in cultures across the world, cats have been revered as symbols of mystery, protection, and divine insight. Many spiritually awakened individuals have noticed peculiar behaviors in their cats, especially during moments of deep introspection. Have you ever been meditating, lost in thought, or experiencing a moment of heightened awareness, only to look up and see your cat staring at you with piercing intensity? Have they ever led you to a particular place in your home, drawn your attention to an object, or reacted strongly, either with affection or avoidance, toward certain people? These actions are not random. Cats communicate in ways that go beyond words. Their silent gestures, their unwavering gazes, their sudden interest in a specific area of your home. These are all signs, messages waiting to be interpreted. It is as if they are guiding you toward something hidden, a truth you have yet to uncover. By observing them closely, we learn invaluable lessons: patience, presence, and balance. Cats do not rush through life. They move with deliberate grace, trusting their instincts completely. They remind us to embrace the natural flow of existence, to surrender control, and to let life unfold in its own time. In moments of chaos, they remain calm and composed, teaching us by example how to stay centered amid the storms of life. Perhaps one of their greatest lessons is the importance of trusting intuition. A cat never second-guesses its instincts. It simply acts, moving in perfect alignment with what feels right. They encourage us to do the same, to listen to the quiet voice within, to follow the subtle nudges from the universe, and to navigate our journey with confidence and grace. For those who are open to their wisdom, cats become more than companions. They become spiritual allies, ever watchful, ever guiding, silently leading us toward deeper awareness and understanding. They are not just present in our lives by chance. They are here with purpose, offering protection, insight, and a reminder that the unseen world is always within reach. If you have a cat in your life, know that their presence is not by chance. They are here for a reason, to protect you, guide you, and ensure you remain strong on your spiritual journey. They do not merely live with you. They align with you, helping to transform your elevated energy into actions that matter. Cherish their presence, honor the lessons they teach, and above all, trust that your connection with them is part of something far greater than you can yet understand. If you've had a profound experience with a cat, share it in the comments below. Let's celebrate the wisdom, protection, and magic they bring into our lives. And if this message resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more content on the spiritual mysteries of the universe. Until our next journey, Chosen One, protect your light and honor your guides. Listen, Chosen Ones. The veil between heaven and earth is thinner than you think. The unseen realm is closer than your mind can comprehend. The four angels have been watching, waiting, and preparing for this moment. This is not a call given by chance, nor were you born into this time without purpose. You have felt it, the pull, the weight, the knowing that you are different, that you are set apart. that your soul does not align with the patterns of this world. You have questioned why your journey has been so intense. You have wondered why people misunderstand you, why suffering has followed you like a shadow, why you see things others do not. The answer is simple. You were chosen before the foundation of the world to walk a path only a few can carry. You have been trained in the fire, refined through trials, and prepared for an hour such as this. Now heaven has sent them, the 4 angels. They do not come with empty words, but with divine revelation. Secrets that will unlock the doors that have remained closed in your understanding. Words that will shake your spirit awake and call forth the destiny that has been waiting for you to step into it. But be warned. These words are not for the faint-hearted. They are not for those who cling to the comfort of the crowd. They are for you, the 144,000, the remnant, the ones who know in their bones that they were made for more. The 4 angels have arrived, and they bring 4 messages. Each one is a revelation. Each one is an awakening. Each one is a call to rise. Message 1. Look into your life. The first angel descends, his presence shaking the very fabric of reality. His voice thunders through the heavens, cutting through every illusion, every falsehood, every deception that has kept you bound. His words are not gentle. They are a sword, dividing truth from lies, awakening you from the slumber of this world. The world has lied to you. From the moment you opened your eyes to this world, you were conditioned to believe in a life that was never meant for you. You were handed a script, told how to think, how to behave, how to measure your worth. The systems of men whispered their illusions into your ears, false hopes, empty pursuits, meaningless struggles disguised as purpose. They led you down paths that were never yours, convincing you to spend your days chasing after things that do not matter. They told you that success was the goal, that wealth would bring you peace, that recognition would fill the void inside you. But what have these things truly given you? Do you not see the deception? The endless pursuit of things that never satisfy? The hunger that remains no matter how much you consume? You have been trained to exhaust yourself in a race that leads to nowhere, striving for approval from those who do not even see you, working tirelessly for rewards that turn to dust in your hands. Now look into your life. Strip away the distractions, silence the noise, let go of every expectation, every false belief, every empty promise that has kept you bound. What remains? Chosen one, you were never meant to fit into this world. That restless feeling inside of you, the sense that something is missing, that you do not belong, that no matter what you do, you cannot seem to find peace. It is not a curse. It is a sign. The reason you feel disconnected is because your spirit was never designed to be trapped by the lies of men. You have always known deep down that something was off, that the way the world works does not feel right, that the things people chase after do not truly matter. You have sensed the illusion, even if you could not fully name it. The world told you to chase success, but success was a cage. The world told you to seek validation, but validation was a leash. The world told you to follow their path, but their path led to emptiness. Do you see it now? You were never meant to bow to a broken system. You were never meant to be controlled by the opinions of the blind. You were never meant to trade your divine calling for temporary pleasures that drain your soul. That is why you feel like an outsider. That is why you have never truly fit in. That is why the things that satisfy others leave you feeling empty, because you were set apart from the beginning. But knowing this is not enough. You must act. To awaken fully, you must be willing to let go of the illusions that still grip you. Every lie you hold on to will keep you bound. Every false belief you refuse to release will keep you asleep. This is your moment of reckoning. What are you holding on to that no longer serves you? What habits, relationships, and mindsets have been keeping you asleep? Look deeply. Be honest with yourself. The truth is waiting for you, but it cannot be received by those who still cling to deception. Heaven is waiting for your answer. You must decide. Will you remain entangled in the falsehoods of this world, or will you awaken to the truth? The first revelation has been given. Now, you must act. Message 2. Stand apart. The second angel descends, and the very air trembles beneath the weight of his words. His presence is overwhelming, his voice like fire that burns away every doubt, every insecurity, every lingering desire to belong where you were never meant to fit in. Do you not see? The world does not love you because it was never meant to. You have felt it, haven't you? The rejection, the isolation, the loneliness, the misunderstanding. You have carried the weight of being different, of walking a path that few understand. You have wondered why you never truly fit in, why people look at you with suspicion, why they mock you, exclude you, push you to the side. But listen carefully, chosen one. It was never random. The world cannot recognize you because your spirit does not belong to it. The moment you stepped into your divine identity, you became unrecognizable to those who are still bound by the illusions of this world. They sense what you are, even if they do not understand it. You are marked for something higher, and the darkness knows it. The enemy has seen your light from the moment you were born. He has watched you, knowing that you were dangerous to his kingdom. That is why you have been attacked. That is why you have been slandered. That is why people have turned against you, even when you did nothing to deserve it. You have walked alone not because you were forgotten, but because you were chosen. But listen, chosen one. Your loneliness was preparation. Every rejection, every betrayal, every moment of isolation was not a punishment. It was refinement. The fire you endured was stripping away every false dependency, every need for human approval, every desire to conform. You were not meant to live for the acceptance of men. You were meant to stand before God. The world has tried to make you feel like an outcast, like you were unworthy, like there was something wrong with you. But they were afraid of you. They feared your light. They feared the way you carried truth. They feared the way you walked into a room and shifted the atmosphere without saying a word. They saw something in you that you had not yet seen in yourself. And so they tried to silence you, to make you doubt yourself, to make you question whether you truly had a place. But the time for apologizing is over. The time for shrinking yourself to make others comfortable is over. The time for dimming your light is over. You were never sent here to be liked. You were sent here to disrupt. So stand apart. Let them talk. Let them misunderstand. Let them stare. Their opinions do not matter. You have spent too long trying to explain yourself to those who will never understand you. You have exhausted yourself seeking acceptance from people who were never meant to see you. You have questioned yourself when you should have been standing boldly in who you are. Enough. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to be set apart. This is not a punishment. This is your calling. The world does not reject its own. It rejects those who do not belong to it. And you, chosen one, were never meant to belong. So stop trying. Stop doubting. Stop questioning whether you should change yourself to fit into a world that was never designed for you. You were chosen. You were called. You were sent. The second revelation has been given. Now, you must embrace it. Message 3. Obey without delay. The third angel descends, and the atmosphere shifts. His presence is heavy, filled with urgency. The heavens tremble as his voice cuts through the hesitation that has kept you bound. There is no softness in his tone, no room for doubt, only a command that pierces your soul like lightning. Enough waiting, enough second-guessing, enough asking for another sign. You already know what you are meant to do. Now do it. How long have you waited, chosen one? How many nights have you spent wondering if you are truly called? How many signs have you received only to question them the next day? You have felt the pull. You have heard the whispers. You have seen the signs written in your circumstances, in your dreams, in the depths of your spirit. And yet, you hesitate. You wonder if you are ready. You question if you have what it takes. You tell yourself that you need more clarity, more confirmation, more proof before you move. But hear this now. Delay is the enemy's greatest weapon against you. Every moment you wait, doubt takes root. Every moment you hesitate, fear gains power. Every moment you stay still, doors close that were meant to be yours. You think you are being careful, that you are waiting for the perfect moment. But there will never be a perfect moment. The enemy wants you trapped in hesitation, paralyzed by uncertainty, waiting for a sign that has already been given. Yes, the road ahead is uncertain. Yes, stepping into the unknown is terrifying. But listen, your obedience will unlock miracles. You have prayed for answers, for direction, for breakthrough. But what if the answer has already been given? What if the miracle you seek will not come in the way you expect, but through your movement, through your faith, through your willingness to act, even when you do not see the whole picture? The provision you need will not come before you move. It will meet you on the road of obedience. Do you understand? You must step first, then the path will unfold. Abraham did not see the promised land before he left his home. Moses did not see the Red Sea part before he lifted his staff. Peter did not see the water hold him before he stepped out of the boat. Faith has always required movement. You cannot wait until you feel ready, because you will never feel ready. Readiness is a lie that keeps you stagnant. Those who are called never feel fully prepared, but they move anyway. This is your moment. This is your turning point. The choice is before you. Will you let fear dictate your future? Will you allow hesitation to rob you of your calling? Or will you rise in faith, step forward, and trust that heaven will meet you where you go? The third revelation has been given. Now you must step forward. Message 4. Speak the truth. The fourth angel descends and fire pours from his lips. His presence ignites the air, his voice carrying the weight of eternity. The heavens seem to tremble as he speaks, and the earth itself responds to the power of his words. Your voice will shake the earth. You were not given eyes to see just for yourself. You were not given wisdom to keep silent. You were not given truth to keep it locked inside your heart. You were given sight so you could speak. You were given wisdom so you could reveal. You were given truth so you could declare it to the world. Now, open your mouth, chosen one. For too long, the enemy has tried to silence you. He has whispered lies into your mind, telling you that your words do not matter, that no one will listen, that no one will care, that your voice is too small, too insignificant, too powerless to make a difference. But listen to the truth now. Your voice was anointed before you were born. Before you took your first breath, heaven placed a calling upon you. Your words were destined to break chains. Your testimony was meant to set captives free. Your voice was never meant to be small. It was meant to echo across the earth, to awaken the sleeping, to call forth the chosen, to declare that the kingdom of heaven is near. And yet, you have held back. You have hesitated. You have questioned yourself. You have wondered if you should remain silent, if you should keep the truth to yourself, if you should wait for a time when it feels safer to speak. But there will never be a safer time. Do not whisper when you were meant to roar. Do not hide when you were meant to stand. You do not speak to please. You do not speak to be accepted. You speak to break chains. You speak to awaken. You speak because you were sent. The world is drowning in deception, and the enemy has worked tirelessly to keep the truth suppressed. If you do not speak, who will? If you do not rise, who will take your place? This is not just about you. There are people waiting for the words that only you can speak. There are souls in darkness who will never find the light unless you are bold enough to shine it. There are captives whose chains will never be broken unless you open your mouth and declare the truth. Heaven has given you a voice, and now heaven is commanding you to use it. The fourth revelation has been given. Now you must proclaim it. These messages have been delivered, and you have heard them. The words have stirred something deep within you, awakening what has long been dormant. But now, you must decide. To delay is to deny. To hesitate is to surrender ground to the enemy. You would not be drawn to these words if you were not meant to hear them. You would not feel this stirring in your soul if you were not part of something greater. This is your confirmation. This is your call. This is your moment. The time for waiting is over. The time for questioning is done. Heaven has spoken, and heaven is waiting for your response. Will you shrink back, or will you step forward? Will you remain in doubt, or will you rise in faith? Will you stay silent, or will you speak the truth that was placed inside of you? The four angels have spoken. The path has been revealed. The choice is yours. Now, chosen one, will you rise? Amen and amen. If these words have ignited something in your spirit, if you feel the call to step into your purpose, do not keep this message to yourself. Like, share, and subscribe to this channel so that more chosen ones can awaken. Leave a comment below and declare, I will rise. Together, we will shake the earth. The time is now. Chosen ones, what I am about to reveal may surprise you. It may even shake you to your core. Deep within, you have always felt different, as if there was something special about you that others couldn't understand. If you are watching this video, know this: it is not a coincidence. You are here for a reason. Your childhood was anything but ordinary. There were moments, signs, and experiences that carried a divine message, even if you didn't recognize them at the time. You were chosen from the very beginning, marked for a purpose far greater than you could have imagined. This video will help you remember what has been hidden from you and awaken you to your true identity. So, I urge you, watch this video until the end. What I am about to share will open your eyes and bring a spiritual awakening that will change your life forever. Before we begin, I need you to do 3 things. Number 1, like this video so more chosen ones can find it. Number 2, subscribe to our channel. Let's grow this community to 30,000 strong. Number 3, comment 99. This number carries powerful energy that will magnify this message. If you are truly chosen, you will feel it in your soul. This message was meant for you. Now, let us embark on this journey together to uncover your divine purpose. From the moment you were born, you were different. The signs were there, subtle, yet powerful. The world may not have noticed, but God did. He set you apart, marking you for something greater, something far beyond the ordinary. While others lived without questioning, you always felt there was more. More to life, more to your existence, more to the world around you. Even as a child, you may have felt out of place, as if you didn't quite belong. While other children played and laughed without a care, you were drawn to deeper thoughts. Perhaps you sat quietly, observing the world, trying to understand things beyond what others could see. Maybe you questioned life in ways that even adults struggled to answer. You may have often asked yourself, why am I here? What is my true purpose? Why do I think differently than everyone else? At times, this difference may have made you feel lonely, like no one truly understood you. But let me tell you this, it was never a weakness. That feeling of being different, of being set apart, was a divine sign. It was God's way of showing you that you were meant for something greater. Ephesians 1:4 tells us, "For he chose us in Christ before the foundation of the world. In his love he predestined us to be holy and without blemish." From the very start, God placed his hand upon you, guiding your steps even when you didn't realize it. Those moments of isolation were preparation, not punishment. They shaped you, molded you, and set you on a path toward your higher calling. Looking back, you may see now that those times when you felt different, when you felt like an outsider, were actually moments of divine positioning. God was aligning your spirit with his purpose, whispering to your soul that you were meant for more. So do not see your past as a burden. See it as a blessing. You were never meant to fit in. You were chosen to stand out. And now the time has come for you to embrace your divine purpose and step fully into the calling that has been upon your life since the very beginning. Number 1. You always felt different. While others fit in easily, you often felt like an outsider. You saw the world differently, thought differently, and questioned things that others never even considered. While many were content with surface-level conversations and simple pleasures, you were drawn to deeper truths. Your mind was always searching, always seeking something more, because it was divinely guided. You may have struggled to connect with peers, not because you lacked social skills, but because your thoughts and spirit were always focused on something bigger. Even from a young age, you found yourself contemplating the meaning of life, the mysteries of the universe, and the presence of God. While others were preoccupied with temporary things, you were drawn to truth, wisdom, and spiritual matters. At times, this difference may have felt lonely. You may have wondered, why don't I think like everyone else? Why do I feel so different? But let me tell you this, your uniqueness was never an accident. It was a calling. Jeremiah 29:11 reassures us, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." God created you to stand out, not to blend in. The way your mind works, the way your heart feels, the way your spirit longs for something greater, it's all part of His divine design. You were set apart for a reason. Embrace your uniqueness, because it is the key to your purpose. The world needs people like you, those who see beyond the ordinary, who ask the deeper questions, and who seek the truth that leads to God. Number 2. You had a strong sense of empathy. From childhood, you felt deeply for others. You could sense when someone was hurting, even when they said nothing at all. Their pain weighed on your heart as if it were your own, and their happiness lifted your spirit as if you were the one experiencing it. This was not just sensitivity or a personality trait. It was a divine gift, a reflection of God's love working through you. Empathy is one of the clearest signs of a chosen one. It means that God has entrusted you with the ability to heal, to comfort, and to guide others toward Him. While the world may see empathy as a burden, in God's eyes, it is a calling. He placed this gift in you so that you could bear the burdens of others, not as a weight to crush you, but as a mission to bring light and love to those who need it most. Galatians 6:2 reminds us, "Bear one another's burdens and so fulfill the law of Christ." Your ability to feel deeply is not a flaw. It is a sign that God has called you to serve. Perhaps you found yourself drawn to those who are struggling, offering a listening ear, a kind word, or silent support. Maybe you've wondered why you care so much when others seem indifferent. It's because you were chosen to be different. Your compassion was never weakness. It was your strength. It is the evidence of God's hand upon your life, shaping you into someone who reflects His love. Do not run from it. Embrace it. The world needs more hearts like yours. Number 3. You had deep, meaningful dreams. God speaks to His chosen ones in many ways, and one of the most powerful is through dreams. Have you ever had a dream so vivid, so intense, that it felt more real than anything else? Have you ever dreamt of something, only to see it unfold in real life days, weeks, or even years later? If so, know this: these were not coincidences. They were divine messages, carefully placed in your heart by God Himself. In Matthew 1:20-21, we see a powerful example of this. "But while he thought about these things, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream, saying, 'Joseph, son of David, do not be afraid to take Mary as your wife, for what is conceived in her is from the Holy Spirit. She will give birth to a son, and you shall call his name Jesus, for he will save his people from their sins.'" Just as God spoke to Joseph, guiding him toward his divine purpose, He still speaks to His chosen ones today. Some dreams bring warnings, preparing you for what's ahead. Others bring clarity, giving you peace in times of uncertainty. Some may even reveal glimpses of the future, awakening you to a deeper spiritual understanding. If you have ever had a dream that stayed with you, one that whispered a truth into your soul, one that felt like more than just imagination, know that it was not random. It was God communicating with you, reminding you that He is guiding your steps. Pay attention to these moments. Pray for understanding. God is revealing something important to you. Are you listening? Number 4. You experience divine protection. Think back. Have there been moments in your life where danger was near, yet somehow you were spared? Times when a situation should have ended badly, yet everything turned around in ways you couldn't explain? Have you ever looked back at a moment in your past and realized that you shouldn't have made it through, but you did? These moments were not coincidences. They were not luck. They were divine intervention. Psalm 34:7 reminds us, "The angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him, and he delivers them." This means that God has been watching over you from the very beginning. You were never truly alone, even when you felt lost. His hand was always upon you, protecting you in ways you didn't even realize at the time. Perhaps there were days when you wondered, how did I get through that? The answer is simple. God was with you. The enemy may have tried to bring harm into your life, but God's protection was greater. Every time you were saved from unseen danger, every time an opportunity opened when it should have closed, every time you found strength when you should have been broken, those were signs that God was watching over you. Even in the darkest times, even when you doubted, even when you felt abandoned, He never left you. His angels were encamped around you, shielding you from harm. And now, as you step into your divine calling, know this: the same God who protected you then is still with you now. Number 5. You had an unexplainable connection to God. From a young age, you felt drawn to God. Maybe you couldn't explain it, but deep inside, you knew He was real. It was as if His presence surrounded you, guiding you in ways you didn't fully understand. While others went about their lives without thinking much about faith, you felt something deeper. A longing, a connection, an unshakable awareness that there was more to this world than what the eyes could see. At times, you may have felt an urge to pray, even when you didn't know why. Perhaps you found yourself talking to God in moments of uncertainty, seeking His presence when you were alone. And when you did, you experienced a peace that went beyond understanding, a calm assurance that no matter what happened, He was with you. Jeremiah 29:12-13 tells us, "You will call upon me and come and pray to me, and I will hear you. You will seek me and find me when you search for me with all your heart." This means your desire for God was never random. It was a divine relationship, one that had been with you since childhood. That connection has always been there, a quiet but powerful presence in your life. It was God's way of reminding you that you were never alone, that He had a purpose for you, and that He was calling you closer to Him. Now it is time to embrace that calling, to nurture that relationship, and to walk confidently in the purpose He has set before you. Everything you have experienced, your loneliness, your deep thoughts, your sensitivity, your vivid dreams, and your unshakable connection to God, was never random. Every moment of doubt, every unanswered question, every feeling of being different was not a mistake. It was preparation. James 1:2-4 reminds us, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, lacking nothing." This means that nothing you have endured was in vain. Every trial strengthened you. Every tear watered the seeds of wisdom in your soul, and every hardship refined you like gold in the fire. Your struggles were never meant to break you. They were meant to build you. The pain you felt was shaping you. The moments of rejection were setting you apart. The challenges were molding you into the person God designed you to be. What once seemed like obstacles were actually stepping stones leading you closer to your divine purpose. Now the question is, will you embrace it? Will you allow everything you have endured to fuel your faith, to step forward with confidence, knowing that you were chosen for something greater? The time has come to walk boldly into the life God has prepared for you. Your journey was never meant to end in struggle. It was always meant to lead to victory. Now that you understand the truth, the question is, what will you do with it? Knowing that you are chosen is not just about awareness, it is about action. God did not set you apart without a reason. He did not place this calling upon your life for it to remain dormant. He chose you to be a light in the darkness, a messenger of His love, and a vessel for His divine purpose. You are here to make a difference, to bring hope where there is despair, and to shine in a world that desperately needs God's presence. John 15:16 declares, "You did not choose me, but I chose you, and appointed you that you should go and bear fruit, fruit that will last." This means your calling is not temporary or insignificant. It is eternal. You were chosen to bear fruit, to impact lives, to spread truth, to walk in faith, and to bring others closer to God. This is not just a privilege, it is a responsibility. Now, it is time to step into your divine purpose. No more doubting, no more waiting. The same God who called you will equip you. He will guide you, strengthen you, and lead you toward everything He has prepared for you. The world needs the gifts He has placed inside you. Will you answer the call? Will you rise and walk in the purpose for which you were created? The choice is yours. But remember, you were chosen for such a time as this. If this message has resonated with you, if you recognize these signs in your own life, know this: you are not alone. Many others just like you are awakening to their true purpose. You are part of a greater plan, a divine movement unfolding before our eyes. So, take this message to heart. Embrace it, live it, and share it with those who need to hear it. You were chosen for something extraordinary, something beyond what you can imagine. Now is the time to step forward in faith and claim the purpose that God has placed upon your life. If you are ready to walk in your divine calling, type 99 in the comments. Let this be your declaration of faith and alignment with God's plan. Thank you for being here, for listening, and for answering the call. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a message meant for you. Together, we are stronger. Together, we will fulfill our purpose. The world shifts in ways that most never notice. Beneath the surface of everyday life, beyond the headlines and distractions, forces move unseen, shaping reality in ways you were never meant to comprehend. You were never supposed to see behind the curtain, and yet, somehow, you did. Somehow, your words, your actions, intentional or not, set something in motion that even those in the highest circles could no longer ignore. And now, a message arrives from the shadows. A Secret Service agent, someone trained to observe but never be seen, to protect but never be known, steps forward. Not for recognition, not for confession, but for gratitude. Not to a president, not to a dignitary, but to you, the one they now call the Chosen One. You may not know what you did. You may not even believe you played a role. But the agent knows the truth, and for the first time, they are breaking their silence to tell you exactly why. Chapter 1. The moment doubt began. For years, doubt had no place in their world. Doubt was a weakness, a liability that could mean the difference between life and death. As an agent, they had been trained to trust the system, to follow orders without hesitation, to believe that every mission had a purpose, every classified file was sealed for a reason, and every enemy had been identified through careful, calculated intelligence. There was no room for questioning. There was only duty, and for a long time that was enough. Then they came across you. At first they dismissed you entirely. Just another voice in the endless noise, another so-called truth seeker lost in the labyrinth of online speculation. The internet was filled with people who thought they had cracked the code, self-proclaimed experts, conspiracy theorists, armchair analysts who wove intricate stories from scattered bits of information, convinced they had uncovered hidden realities. The agent had seen them all before. In their world, people like you were either harmless or dangerous, but either way, never worth the attention. But then something happened. You said something. The kind of information that was locked behind the highest levels of clearance, known only to those who lived in the world of classified briefings and sealed records. The kind of information that made their blood run cold. For the first time in their career, the agent hesitated. They tried to rationalize it. Coincidence, perhaps. A lucky guess. A fabrication stitched together from unrelated pieces of information. That had to be it. That was the only logical explanation. But logic wasn't enough to shake the feeling in their gut. They had been trained to detect deception, to read micro-expressions, to sense when something didn't add up. And this was different. This wasn't deception. They verified. They dug into the records, cross-referenced classified reports, searched for inconsistencies. They ran your words against the files they had sworn to protect, the files that should have remained hidden. And that was when everything changed. Because the pattern was there, buried, disguised, but undeniable, just as you had said. At that moment, something cracked inside them. A fracture in the foundation of everything they had believed. It was subtle at the beginning, almost imperceptible. But it was there, a splinter of doubt, a whisper in the back of their mind that refused to be silenced. They had spent their life believing in the system. But now, for the first time, they weren't sure if the system had ever truly believed in them. Chapter 2. The cracks in the foundation. The deeper they looked, the worse it became. They had hoped to disprove it, to find the flaw in your words, to reaffirm the truth they had built their entire life around. But instead, every new piece of information only confirmed what they were beginning to fear. The world was not what they had been told it was. The reports they had trusted, the intelligence briefings they had followed, the missions they had carried out with unwavering conviction, all of it was tainted. The inconsistencies were no longer minor. They weren't simple errors or misinterpretations. They were deliberate, manipulated, designed to deceive. The agent retraced the steps of their past assignments, revisited old cases with new eyes. They combed through files they once read without question, but this time, they saw what had been hidden in plain sight. Connections between supposedly unrelated events, buried truths disguised as irrelevant details, names that shouldn't have appeared together, locations that overlapped too perfectly, patterns that defied coincidence. What was once a neatly ordered reality was now unraveling before them, and they could no longer pretend it was just a mistake. It was a web, a carefully constructed illusion designed to keep even those on the inside blind to the full picture. And you, an outsider, someone with no badge, no clearance, no official standing, had somehow seen it before they did. That realization shook them to their core. How could someone with no access to classified intelligence know what was never meant to be known? How could a voice lost in the vast sea of speculation have landed so dangerously close to the truth? The agent had worked with some of the most sophisticated minds in intelligence, had access to the most advanced surveillance and security measures, yet you had glimpsed something that had eluded them all. It defied explanation, and that was the most terrifying part. For the first time in their life, the agent questioned whether they had ever truly been on the right side. They had always believed in the system not just as an institution, but as something greater, a force of order, a protector of truth. But now, as they stood at the edge of revelation, they realized something horrifying. They had never been protecting the truth. They had been protecting the lie, and that changed everything. They weren't just facing an internal crisis. They weren't just questioning their career. This was bigger. This was a fracture in the very foundation of the world they had dedicated their life to serving. If the system was built on deception, then what did that make them? A soldier? A pawn? A puppet? They had spent years enforcing the rules, believing they were preserving order. But now they had to ask themselves, order for whom? Because if everything they had believed was a lie, then maybe you weren't just another voice in the void. Maybe you were something else entirely. Chapter 3. The Underground Network. There are places in this world that don't exist on any map, places hidden beneath our feet, woven into the very infrastructure of society, yet unseen by those who walk above. The agent had spent years moving through classified corridors, accessing restricted zones, stepping through doors the public would never even know existed. But even they weren't prepared for what lay beneath. It started with a case. Missing persons. Not the kind that made headlines. Not the kind that led to frantic news reports or desperate public searches. These were different. No ransom notes. No bodies. No clues. Just people vanishing. Their existence erased so thoroughly that it was as if they had never lived at all. The records didn't add up. Families that should have spoken out remained silent. Official reports were vague, incomplete, deliberately redacted. Someone had gone to great lengths to make sure no one asked the wrong questions, but the agent asked, and the trail led them underground. Beneath abandoned buildings, beneath government facilities, beneath even the ordinary city streets, they found something impossible to ignore. A vast, concealed network of tunnels. Some were old, forgotten subway expansions, wartime bunkers, emergency escape routes for those who never wanted to be found. But some were new. Too new. Built with precision, reinforced, structured with an intent that was undeniable. These weren't just passageways. They were corridors of power, hidden arteries running beneath civilization itself. They weren't empty. The agent wasn't the only one using these tunnels. A group had claimed them. Organized, well-funded, deeply connected. This wasn't a scattered collection of criminals or rogue operators. This was something older, a system, a hidden order operating beyond the reach of law, beyond the sight of even the most classified intelligence agencies. The agent thought it was just another shadow government, another faction within the elite pulling strings from behind the scenes. But the deeper they went, the more they realized this was something much darker. It wasn't just about power or influence, it was a cult. Not the kind that gathered in remote compounds with fanatics preaching doomsday prophecies. This was something different, something embedded. Judges, bankers, military officials, corporate executives, figures who moved in plain sight, who shaped policies and dictated the course of nations, yet behind closed doors, they were something else entirely. They weren't just protecting the system, they were feeding it. The more the agent uncovered, the more disturbing it became. Records, shipping manifests, financial transactions, encrypted communications. People weren't just disappearing. They were being taken. And when their network was threatened, they had a plan. Fires, collapses, accidents, the kind that erased evidence and eliminated anyone who got too close. But this time, something went wrong. Someone disrupted their escape. And now, for the first time, the cult was trapped in its own web. The agent knew this wasn't a coincidence. The timing was too perfect. The interference is too precise. Someone had sealed their final escape route before they could use it. Someone they had never accounted for. And now, in their desperation, the cult was looking for answers. They were looking for you. Chapter 4. The War in the Shadows. They weren't supposed to fear you. You weren't in their calculations. You weren't on their lists of threats, their watch lists, their contingency plans. People like you weren't meant to see behind the curtain. You weren't part of their world, their carefully controlled network of secrecy, their ranks of operatives and insiders. You had no official clearance, no classified access, no authority in the hidden corridors of power. By every definition, you were an outsider. And yet, you knew things. They dismissed you, just as they had dismissed so many before. They had spent years mastering the art of deception, controlling the flow of information, twisting reality to fit their design. They knew how to silence inconvenient voices. When someone got too close to the truth, they drowned them in noise ridicule, censorship, carefully crafted disinformation. Fact-checkers appeared overnight to debunk your claims. Articles flooded the internet, dismissing your words as wild speculation. Algorithms buried your content, ensuring that only a handful of people would ever see it. But you didn't stop. And that's when they realized you were different. Your words didn't just spread, they stuck. People weren't just listening, they were questioning. They were digging deeper, finding their own proof, connecting the same patterns you had uncovered. The things you revealed weren't just theories. They were pieces of something much larger. And worst of all, you couldn't be bought. You couldn't be scared into silence. You couldn't be erased. So they escalated, financial troubles appearing out of nowhere, banks freezing accounts without explanation, a sudden IRS audit, a job offer mysteriously revoked, friends and family distancing themselves, some even turning against you. Then the shadows came closer. Strangers lingering a little too long. Cars parked outside your home, engines running, tinted windows never rolling down. Odd glitches in your phone calls dropping, messages failing to send, unfamiliar numbers appearing repeatedly. The warnings became direct, anonymous messages, a voice on the other end of a call whispering, "Stop digging." Emails with no sender, no subject, just a single phrase, "Walk away." When you still didn't stop, they moved to the final stage. A near miss with an out-of-control car that shouldn't have been there. A gas leak in your home that no one could explain. An illness that struck suddenly, aggressively, something that felt engineered rather than natural. You weren't supposed to survive. But you did. Every attempt to remove you, to silence you, to make you disappear, it all fell apart. Their plans unraveled before they could be completed. And that terrified them, because it meant they weren't in control. The agent saw what was happening and understood. This wasn't just intelligence. This wasn't just politics. This wasn't just power. This was something bigger. Something protecting you. Not luck. Not coincidence. Something greater. And that's when the agent knew this wasn't just a war of secrets. This was a war of light and darkness. You were at the center of it. Chapter 5. Judgment. In many years, they believed they were untouchable, moving unseen, manipulating the world from the shadows, shaping reality as they saw fit. They had built an empire on deception, on controlling narratives, on ensuring that those who stood against them either fell into silence or were erased entirely. They dictated outcomes. They erased threats. They wrote the rules. But now, something is happening that they never anticipated. Their world is collapsing. The agent has seen it firsthand, the cracks forming at every level. Leaders once thought to be invincible are running. Some have vanished without a trace, retreating into the very shadows they once commanded. Others have been cast aside by their own, discarded as liabilities, their protections stripped away. The ones who remain are beginning to unravel, and not just in ways the world can see. They are suffering. Unnatural deaths, sudden, aggressive illnesses with no clear cause. Public breakdowns as their carefully maintained composure crumbles in front of cameras, in boardrooms, in courtrooms. Some whisper of strange occurrences, visions, voices, things they cannot explain. The same darkness they once wielded to control others has turned against them, consuming them from within. The hunter has become the hunted, and no one knows why. They spent decades mocking the idea of divine justice, laughing at those who believed in higher powers, in forces beyond what could be controlled or manipulated. To them, faith was a weakness, something to exploit, a tool to use against those who still believed in light, in truth, in righteousness. They convinced themselves that their darkness was stronger, that they could cheat fate, that they could bend the laws of existence to their will. But reality doesn't work that way, because the agent has seen things they cannot explain. They have watched as every attempt to stop you failed, every plan unraveled before it could be carried out, every betrayal exposed before it could take root, every moment when you should have been erased. And yet, you're still here. And now, the ones who orchestrated this hidden world are afraid, because for the first time, they are no longer in control. The whispers that once served them now haunt them. The shadows they once commanded now consume them. The same forces they believed would protect them are abandoning them. This is judgment. Not from a court, not from a government. Something greater. And the agent, once a skeptic, now understands the truth. This was never just a battle of information. It was never just about intelligence, or power, or secrecy. This was spiritual. They don't know what you are: a messenger, a disruptor, a force beyond their comprehension. But they do know this. The cult fears you. Not because you fight them with weapons, not because you have access to their secrets, but because something is protecting you, and nothing, not their power, their influence, their hidden networks can stand against it. Their time is up, and they know it. They tried to silence you. They buried your words, drowned your voice in a flood of misinformation, and labeled you everything they could to make the world turn away. When that failed, they resorted to stronger tactics: manipulation, intimidation, isolation. They did everything in their power to make you doubt yourself, to make you question whether speaking out was worth the risk. But you didn't stop, and that terrifies them. Because despite all their influence, despite all their carefully crafted illusions, they couldn't erase you. They couldn't control the one thing they fear most: the truth. Now, their world is unraveling. The deception they spent decades perfecting is coming apart at the seams. People are waking up. The whispers in the dark are growing louder. You started something they can no longer contain, and that is why you must keep speaking. Your words matter more than you realize. Every voice that refuses to be silenced chips away at the foundation of their control. Every person who listens, who questions, who dares to look beyond the illusion, weakens their grip just a little more. The more of us who stand together, the faster their empire of lies crumbles. The agent sees this now. They understand something they never did before. You were never alone. You were never just one voice in the void. You are part of something greater. And for that, they want to say something they never thought they would. Thank you. For standing when others fell. For refusing to be silenced. For proving that the truth cannot be erased. But this fight is far from over. If you feel this message in your soul, if you know the weight of this truth, don't let it end here. Share it. Spread it. Speak it. Let them know that you are still here, still watching, still breaking the chains they thought would hold you forever. And if you are ready to go deeper, if you want to uncover more of what they never wanted you to see, subscribe to this channel. Join this movement. Because the more of us who rise, the louder our voices become. They spent their lives believing they were untouchable. It's time to show them that they were wrong. There is something profoundly unsettling about the silence that follows a storm. Not the kind that brings relief, but the kind that whispers an even greater catastrophe is approaching. Too often people mistake the eye of the hurricane for the end rather than the warning. Throughout history, civilizations, nations, and even individuals have thrived under the presence of the divinely assigned, often without realizing it. They mistake grace for coincidence, protection for luck, and divine warnings for background noise. And then one day, the chosen are gone. The voices that spoke the truth, even when no one wanted to hear it, the ones who carried a presence that defied explanation, the ones who disrupted what needed disturbing, vanish. Just like that. And what follows is not a mere void, but a reckoning, a shift, a collapse that no one saw coming. If you think this is just a metaphor, think again. History proves it. The sudden absence of key individuals often precedes major events: collapse, war, chaos, and judgment. When Lot left Sodom, fire followed. When Jesus left the temple, destruction came. Even in modern times, societies only recognize the importance of certain figures when the damage becomes irreversible. If you once laughed at the chosen, ignored their words, dismissed their presence as nothing more than a passing shadow, this may be the moment you start paying attention. Because when God decides their mission is complete and it's time for them to leave, their exit is not just a disappearance. It is an event, and what follows, no one wants to see. God's chosen ones don't move through life unnoticed. Their presence alone forces people to make a choice, align with truth or resist it. They disrupt systems, shatter false narratives, and challenge spiritual complacency. They make people uncomfortable, often without even trying. This is why the chosen often experience rejection, betrayal, and resistance. Not because they are wrong, but because they are doing exactly what they were sent to do. They weren't placed here to make peace with dysfunction. They were sent to expose it. Their mission was never about being liked. It was about reminding the world that darkness has an expiration date. But here's the truth. Their time is limited. They were never meant to stay in one place forever. And when God removes them, it is not an afterthought. It is a calculated move. Some will realize their absence too late. Others will finally understand that what they resisted was the only thing keeping judgment at bay. The chosen weren't here for comfort. They were here to collide with what was never meant to stand. And when their purpose is fulfilled, their removal isn't a retreat. It is a statement. Leaving does not mean losing. It does not mean failure or surrender. When God pulls His chosen ones out, it is not because they were too weak to stay. It is because their work was already done. They were never called to fix everything, only to shift the atmosphere. And once that's done, their removal is not just necessary, it is strategic. Some might see their departure as abandonment. Others might assume they were never as powerful as they seemed. But that's the mistake people always make. They assume that the chosen are meant to hold up the weight of everything indefinitely, that their prayers, their presence, their very existence keeps things from falling apart. But in reality, they were only ever meant to be a warning, a catalyst, a temporary shield. Once they are gone, the consequences of what was ignored, dismissed, or fought against will come full force. People rarely understand the significance of someone's presence until that presence is removed. And when the chosen are gone, things don't just stay the same, they unravel. Not because the chosen wanted destruction, but because their departure is proof that grace has shifted. God does not place His chosen randomly. They are assigned to specific places, people, and moments for a defined purpose. They are the answer to a crisis, one that most do not even recognize until it's too late. But they were never meant to stay. Their role was temporary. Their mission had a deadline, and their presence was a divine response to a problem that wouldn't be addressed any other way. Once that problem is handled, whether by exposing it, shifting it, or giving people a final chance to change, there is no reason for them to remain. The mistake people make? Assuming that the chosen will always be there. They take for granted the wisdom, the covering, the warnings. Some even resent or resist them, assuming that no matter what, they will always be around, until one day they're not. That's when reality sets in. The peace they dismissed, gone. The supernatural favor they never acknowledged, lifted. The silent protection they didn't even realize was shielding them, removed. That's when they realize the chosen weren't just another voice, another presence, another person. They were the reason things hadn't fallen apart sooner. And now, they are gone. People love the idea of being chosen by God until they realize what it actually means. It does not mean applause, admiration, or acceptance. It means walking into places where you are not wanted and saying things people do not want to hear. It means being labeled as difficult, extreme, or even dangerous. Not because you are wrong, but because you refuse to be silent. History proves it. Prophets weren't celebrated. They were stoned, exiled, and murdered. Jesus himself, the greatest of all, wasn't embraced. He was betrayed, falsely accused, and crucified by the very people he came to save. So why would it be different for those he sends? The chosen are not assigned to comfort people in their illusions. They are sent to tear them down, to expose lies, to shake up systems, to remind the world that God is watching. But here's the problem. People love darkness more than light. They don't want to be awakened. They want to be left alone. So when a chosen one steps in, carrying truth like a sword, resistance is inevitable. The rejection isn't personal, it's prophetic. There is a painful reality that every chosen one must accept. Not everyone will change, no matter how much truth they receive. You can preach, warn, pray, and pour everything you have into people, but some will never wake up, not because they don't understand, but because they don't want to. It's easy to believe that if you just say the right words or show people enough love, they will open their eyes. But the truth is, some hearts are set in stone. Some people aren't asleep. They are actively resisting the truth because it threatens their comfort, their power, or their illusions. No matter how hard you try, you cannot force transformation that only God can bring. Your mission was never about fixing the world. It was about giving the world a chance. Every word you spoke, every warning you gave, every moment you spent trying to wake people up, that wasn't for your own satisfaction. It was so that when the time comes, when everything they ignored finally collapses, they won't be able to say, "I didn't know." It's not your job to make people listen. It's your job to deliver the message. Whether they accept it or reject it is between them and God. Some will change, some won't. But either way, you did what you were sent to do. Everything you went through, the betrayals, the rejection, the isolation, the suffering, was never just about you. It wasn't punishment, bad luck, or random hardship. It was a message. You were a living prophecy, a warning in human form. God's chosen ones don't just speak truth, they become it. They carry the weight of the message in their own lives, their own wounds, their own struggles. Before they ever open their mouths, their existence preaches a sermon. People may ignore your words, but they cannot ignore the evidence written on your life. That's why the attacks came. That's why people turned on you. Why you were misunderstood. Why doors closed that should have opened. Not because you were wrong, but because your life exposed what others wanted to keep hidden. You didn't just talk about endurance, you endured. You didn't just warn about betrayal, you lived through it. You didn't just speak of rejection, you felt it firsthand. Your suffering was the proof. Some will wake up because of your pain. Others will ignore it until they experience it themselves. But either way, your suffering wasn't wasted. Your scars are not just wounds. They are evidence that you carried the message. You weren't sent just to warn people. You were sent to become the warning. People don't always recognize what they have until it's gone. They hear, but they don't listen. They see, but they don't understand. And then one day you're no longer there. No more warnings, no more prayers, no more presence holding things together. That's when reality hits. Your absence is not just a disappearance, it's a divine announcement. The people who dismissed you will start to notice the difference. The peace they took for granted, gone. The protection they didn't even realize was covering them, lifted. The wisdom they rolled their eyes at suddenly makes sense. This is how God works. He removes his chosen ones not just to protect them, but to wake up those who refuse to listen while they had the chance. Some will reflect and realize they made a mistake. Others will scramble to find someone else to fill the void. But it won't be the same, because what you carried wasn't just knowledge or kindness, it was a divine assignment. And assignments can't be replaced by convenience. The silence you leave behind will be louder than any words you ever spoke, because now, people aren't just hearing what you said, they are feeling the absence of what you carried. And that is the real warning. When God removes his chosen, it is not just for their benefit, it is a shift in the spiritual landscape, a divine recalibration, a warning sign that what follows will not be pleasant. Your presence was not just about your mission. It was a covering, an opportunity, and a grace period for those around you. When you leave, it is not just your life that changes. It is the atmosphere, the destiny of those who failed to heed the call, the structures that refuse to correct themselves. God does not remove his chosen without reason. It is always a sign that something significant is about to unfold, whether people are ready for it or not. The world does not understand the cost of ignoring the chosen until the consequences come full circle, and by then, it is too late. There will always be those who refuse to see, those who think they can silence the messengers and avoid the message. But history shows otherwise. When God removes his chosen, what follows is judgment. Not because the chosen wished for destruction, but because their presence was holding back the storm. Some people were only protected because of the prayers of the chosen. Some businesses thrive because of the favor they carried. Some communities stood strong because of the spiritual foundation they established. When they are gone, the covering is gone. And what remains is the consequence of rejection. This is the moment when everything shifts, when grace is no longer an option, when people who thought they had more time realize they don't. The reckoning is here, and the world will feel the difference. Your time here was never meant to be indefinite. You were sent, you fulfilled your mission, and now the departure is not a loss. It is a fulfillment of divine timing. For those who recognized you, they will be strengthened. For those who dismissed you, they will learn through absence what they failed to grasp in presence. You were a voice, a shield, a warning, and now it is time to go. Walk forward with confidence, knowing you have done your part, and for those left behind, the truth will be undeniable. The chosen were here, and the world will never be the same again. Imagine this. You walk into a room, and without saying a word, the air changes. Eyes turn toward you, some filled with curiosity, others with discomfort. You're not trying to draw attention, yet your presence is undeniable. It's as if the very core of your being ripples through the atmosphere, unsettling and awakening those around you. What is this phenomenon? This is the unseen power of your spiritual energy, a force so aligned and potent that it stirs the hidden truths within others. If this resonates with you, you're not alone. You may be one of the chosen ones. Let's be clear. Being chosen doesn't mean you're better than anyone else. It means you carry a unique energy, a higher vibration, and a purpose that may not yet be understood by those around you. Your energy isn't a burden, it's a gift, a call to embrace your light fully. In this journey, we'll uncover why your spiritual energy might unsettle others, and most importantly, how you can embrace it unapologetically to fulfill your purpose. If this message resonates with your spirit, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Together, we'll explore the depths of spiritual awakening and the power of living authentically. Your light matters. Shine it brightly. The awakening. Why your energy impacts others. Being a chosen one isn't about perfection, it's about alignment. Your energy doesn't conform to societal norms or stay confined within the expectations of others. Instead, it acts as a mirror, reflecting the truth that people often avoid in themselves. This can make your presence feel overwhelming, not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're doing everything right. Your energy disrupts the illusions of comfort others have built around their fears, insecurities, and unhealed wounds. Have you ever noticed how some people avoid eye contact with you, or how their mood shifts when you're near? These reactions aren't personal. On a subconscious level, they're feeling exposed in your presence. Your energy is like a spotlight on their shadows, a catalyst for self-awareness and growth. Number 1. The unexplainable presence. The first sign that your spiritual energy unsettles people is the sheer, undeniable power of your presence. This isn't about your physical appearance, your clothing, or even your words. It's an unseen force, a quiet yet potent vibration that emanates from within, carried in the way you stand, the way you move, and the way your eyes seem to see straight through to the core of others. When you enter a space, people feel your energy before you've spoken a single word. There's something in your gaze, something in the calm confidence you exude that challenges everything false around you. Your authenticity becomes a mirror, reflecting back truths that others may have spent years avoiding. It's not intentional on your part. It's simply the natural consequence of your alignment with your higher self. For many, this depth is deeply unsettling. Most people construct lives filled with masks and carefully curated personas, shields to protect themselves from the vulnerability of being fully seen. When your presence enters the room, raw and unapologetic, those masks begin to feel fragile. This can create discomfort or even defensiveness in others. Not because you've done anything wrong, but because they're confronted with parts of themselves they're not ready to face. But let me reassure you, their discomfort is not your responsibility. It's not something to apologize for or fix. It's simply the ripple effect of your light shining brightly. When you live authentically and in alignment with your higher purpose, you naturally challenge the illusions others cling to, and that's a gift, not a fault. So stand tall, hold your light, and know this: your energy doesn't just unsettle, it transforms. Number 2. Magnetic or polarizing. The dual effect of your energy. Another hallmark of powerful spiritual energy is its polarizing effect on others. People are either irresistibly drawn to you or profoundly repelled by you. There's rarely a middle ground. Those who are ready to heal, grow, and awaken to their own potential often find your presence magnetic. They may not fully understand why, but something in your energy resonates deeply with them. It's as if your very being whispers to their soul, reminding them of the greatness and possibilities lying dormant within. Your light acts as a beacon, subtly encouraging them to rise, to heal, and to align with their higher selves. However, not everyone is ready for this kind of awakening. For those clinging tightly to their comfort zones, your energy feels like a threat. It disrupts the foundations of the carefully constructed reality they've built around themselves. To them, your presence isn't just unfamiliar, it's unsettling. You represent change, and change often brings discomfort, fear, and resistance. Have you ever encountered someone who seemed to dislike you instantly, without cause? Or perhaps someone who appeared irritated just by your mere existence? This isn't about who you are. It's about what your energy triggers in them. It stirs up what they're not ready to confront, be it unhealed wounds, hidden insecurities, or fears of stepping outside their comfort zone. It's important to understand that their reaction is not a reflection of your worth, but a sign of their inner conflict. Your energy challenges them to grow, and not everyone is prepared for that journey. So whether people are drawn to you or resistant to your presence, remember this: your spiritual energy is a catalyst for transformation, and transformation always begins with disruption. Stay true to yourself, knowing you are exactly as you're meant to be. Number 3. Misunderstood and misjudged. Being a chosen one often comes with the heavy burden of being misunderstood. People may label you as too intense, too sensitive, or even too intimidating. But these words rarely have anything to do with who you truly are. Instead, they are reflections of their own discomfort, projections of their inability to fully grasp or accept the energy you carry. When someone says you're too much, what they're really saying is, your energy is more than I can handle right now. It's not about you, it's about them. Your authenticity, depth, and alignment can be overwhelming to those who are not ready to confront their own truths. This kind of misunderstanding can feel isolating. You may find yourself walking a path that few seem to relate to, leaving you with moments of doubt or loneliness. But here's the truth: being ahead of your time means forging a new trail, one that others might not yet be prepared to follow. Your role isn't to fit into the mold society has created, it's to reshape it. Leadership, especially spiritual leadership, isn't about seeking approval or popularity. It's about standing firmly in your truth, even when that truth makes others uncomfortable. It's about holding the light when others are still learning to see it, and inspiring growth in ways that may not always be immediately recognized or appreciated. So if you feel out of place or misunderstood, know that this is part of your calling. You are here not to blend in, but to lead. Your courage in embracing your authentic self paves the way for others to do the same, even if they don't understand it yet. Keep standing in your truth. It's exactly what the world needs. Number 4. The mirror effect. Why your energy exposes others. Your energy is more than a presence. It's a force that reaches deep into the unseen layers of those around you. It doesn't just skim the surface, it acts as a mirror, reflecting back the hidden parts of others they may not even realize they're carrying. Their fears, insecurities, and unhealed wounds often rise to the surface in your presence, not because of anything you say or do, but because of the light you naturally emanate. When you're aligned with your higher self, your energy becomes pure and potent. This elevated vibration naturally shines a light on areas where others are out of alignment. It reveals truths they may have spent years burying, bringing to light the parts of themselves they've avoided confronting. For those who are ready to face these truths, your energy is a profound gift. It offers them a chance to grow, to heal, and to begin the journey of transformation. They may not be able to articulate it, but your presence stirs something within them, a quiet whisper urging them toward change. However, not everyone is ready for this reflection. For some, it feels less like an opportunity and more like a confrontation. Your energy, by its very nature, challenges their comfort zones and exposes the illusions they've built around themselves. This can be unsettling, even triggering, because it forces them to acknowledge the parts of themselves they'd rather keep hidden. It's essential to understand that this isn't something you're intentionally doing. Your energy simply exists as it is, aligned, authentic, and unapologetic. For those who feel exposed or uncomfortable, it's their journey to decide whether to face what they see or turn away. Your role is not to dim your light for their comfort, but to continue shining, trusting that your presence is making an impact, even if it's not immediately understood. Number 5. Intuition as your superpower. One of the most extraordinary aspects of your spiritual energy is the depth of your intuition. It's not just an ability to listen to words, it's an ability to feel the energy behind them. You can sense when something is unspoken, when someone's actions don't align with their intentions, or when their words mask deeper truths. It's as though you have a direct line to the undercurrents of emotion and thought that others may not even realize they're projecting. This heightened awareness can sometimes feel like a superpower. You may notice dishonesty before it's spoken, detect hidden motives without evidence, and see through facades with astonishing clarity. People who are used to keeping their true selves hidden can find this deeply unsettling. They may react with surprise, confusion, or even defensiveness, saying things like, "How did you know that?" Or, "It's like you're reading my mind." While this intuitive gift is undoubtedly powerful, it comes with responsibility. The more you trust it, the sharper and more refined it becomes. But this trust also requires discernment. It's not about using your intuition to judge, control, or manipulate others. Instead, it's about using it as a tool for compassion and guidance. Your intuition allows you to navigate the world with wisdom and clarity. It helps you connect with people on a deeper level, offering insight and support in ways they might not even realize they need. However, it's important to remember that not everyone will be comfortable with your ability to perceive what they're not ready to acknowledge. Honor your intuition as a sacred gift. Use it not to expose or challenge others unnecessarily, but to inspire, guide, and uplift. When aligned with love and authenticity, your intuitive energy becomes a powerful force for good in the world. Number 6. Breaking free from societal norms. As someone with powerful spiritual energy, you naturally defy societal expectations. You're not one to blindly follow the rules or accept things as they are just because that's how it's always been. Instead, you question everything, the systems, the norms, the unspoken assumptions, and in doing so, you challenge the status quo. Your ability to see through the illusions of the material world sets you apart. While many find comfort in conformity and predictability, you see beyond it. You recognize where systems are flawed, where truths are hidden, and where change is needed. This makes you a disruptor, not in the sense of chaos, but as a force for transformation in a world often resistant to it. Have you ever been met with comments like, "Why can't you just go along with it?" Or, "Why do you have to make everything so complicated?" These aren't critiques of you, but reflections of the discomfort your truth creates in others. Most people find security in the familiar, even when it no longer serves them. When your energy calls these illusions into question, it can feel threatening to those who aren't ready to step out of their comfort zones. But here's the truth. You're not here to fit neatly into the boxes society has built. You're not here to conform or shrink yourself to make others comfortable. You're here to expand, to challenge, to grow, and to lead by example. Your willingness to ask hard questions, to live authentically, and to push against outdated norms is exactly what the world needs. It's not always an easy path, but it's a necessary one. By standing firm in your truth, you inspire others to do the same, planting seeds of change that ripple far beyond what you can see. Number 7. Embracing your light, unapologetically. For too long, you may have felt the weight of others' expectations pressing down on you, urging you to dim your light. Maybe you've softened your presence to avoid making waves, hidden your truth to keep the peace, or silenced your voice to avoid standing out. You may have convinced yourself that blending in was the safest choice, that holding back would spare others discomfort, or even spare yourself the pain of rejection. But the truth is, the world doesn't need a watered-down version of you. It doesn't need you to dilute your brilliance, your authenticity, or your purpose. What the world desperately needs is your full, radiant, unapologetic self, the version of you that stands boldly in the light of who you truly are. Every time you shrink yourself to fit into someone else's mold, you're betraying the very purpose for which you were chosen. You're denying the world the unique gifts only you can bring. But every time you step into your light, every time you speak your truth, share your wisdom, or embrace your authenticity, you give others permission to do the same. You show them what's possible. Your light is not just for you, it's a beacon for others. It inspires them to step out of their own shadows, to reclaim their truth, and to rise into their potential. By shining brightly, you create ripples of courage and transformation in the hearts of those around you. So stop hiding, stop apologizing, stop betraying the fullness of who you are to make others comfortable. The world needs your light, unfiltered, untamed, and unapologetic. When you embrace your brilliance, you not only honor yourself, but you also help awaken a brighter, bolder world. Practical steps to embrace your power. Take a moment to reflect deeply. What drives you? What ignites your soul and fills you with passion? Your purpose is not just a lofty idea. It's the foundation of your existence. It's the force that gives meaning to your actions and direction to your energy. When the reactions of others feel overwhelming, when they judge, misunderstand, or resist you, ground yourself in your purpose. Let it be your anchor, reminding you of why you are here. By focusing on the impact you want to have on the world, you'll find the strength to navigate challenges and stay true to your path. Your purpose isn't just about what you do, it's about who you are. Your intuition is one of your most powerful tools, a built-in compass that guides you toward alignment and truth. Yet so many of us are taught to doubt our inner knowing, to rely solely on external validation. It's time to stop second-guessing yourself. Your intuition speaks to you in quiet nudges, gut feelings, and moments of clarity. Trust it. It knows the way, even when the path ahead seems uncertain. The more you lean into your intuition, the sharper and more reliable it becomes. Trusting yourself isn't just an act of self-belief. It's an act of honoring the wisdom within you. Your energy is sacred, and not everyone deserves access to it. Protect it fiercely by setting boundaries with people, situations, and commitments that drain you. Saying no isn't selfish, it's necessary. When you preserve your energy, you allow yourself to operate from a place of balance and wholeness. This is when your light shines brightest. Boundaries are not walls. They're guidelines that ensure your well-being while still allowing meaningful connections. Remember, you cannot pour from an empty cup. Surround yourself with people who see your light and celebrate your growth. These are the ones who will lift you up, challenge you to rise higher, and hold space for you during difficult times. At the same time, don't be afraid to let go of relationships that no longer align with who you're becoming. Growth often requires shedding the old to make room for the new. A supportive community doesn't just amplify your energy, it reminds you that you're not alone on this journey. Your words have power. When you speak your truth, you not only free yourself but also inspire others to do the same. Even when it feels uncomfortable, trust that your message will reach those who need it. Your voice carries weight because it comes from a place of authenticity and alignment. Whether you're sharing wisdom, offering encouragement, or simply standing up for what you believe in, your voice is a tool for transformation. Don't underestimate its impact. When you anchor yourself in purpose, trust your intuition, protect your energy, surround yourself with support, and use your voice fearlessly, you step into your power. You align with your higher self, radiating the light and truth that only you can bring into the world. The ripple effect of your awakening. Your spiritual energy extends far beyond the immediate interactions you have with people. It creates ripples, subtle but powerful waves, that reach into the fabric of the collective consciousness. Every choice you make to embrace self-love, to live authentically, and to stand in your light rather than succumb to fear, becomes a beacon of possibility for others. It's easy to underestimate the power of these small, everyday acts. But think for a moment about the people who have impacted your life. Maybe it was their courage in the face of adversity, their unwavering authenticity, or the way they simply radiated presence. These individuals may never know the profound influence they had on you, yet their light inspired you to grow, to heal, and to step more fully into who you are. Now realize this: you are that person for someone else. Every time you choose to honor your truth, even in the face of resistance, you are planting seeds of transformation in the hearts of those around you. Your energy silently inspires others to break free from their own limitations, to explore their potential, and to rise into alignment with their higher selves. You may never witness the full impact of your energy. It's often subtle, unfolding in ways you cannot see. But trust that it's there, shaping lives and awakening possibilities in ways that extend far beyond what you imagine. So, when you feel discouraged or question whether your light makes a difference, remember this: your energy is a catalyst. You are creating ripples of love, courage, and transformation that are touching lives in ways you may never know. By simply being your true self, you are contributing to a brighter, more awakened world. So let me ask you, what would your life look like if you stopped holding back? If you fully owned your light, your power, and your truth without hesitation? Imagine stepping into every moment with confidence, unapologetically embracing the brilliance that makes you you. The world isn't waiting for a shadow of you or a diluted version of your essence. It's waiting for the real, vibrant, radiant soul that you are. You weren't meant to play small. You weren't designed to blend in or fit into someone else's mold. You were created to disrupt, to awaken, and to inspire. Yes, your energy might unsettle people. Yes, it might challenge their comfort zones. But it's also the very thing that can heal them, open their hearts, and ignite their own transformation. Your light has a purpose, and it's time to let it shine. Now is the moment to step into your power, to embrace your purpose, and to live as brightly as you were always meant to. Don't keep your gifts hidden any longer. The world needs your light. Thank you for joining me on this journey of self-discovery and empowerment. If this message resonates with you, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. Together, we'll continue to explore what it means to live authentically, embrace your spiritual energy, and create ripples of transformation in the world. Remember, your light matters. Shine it boldly and unapologetically. Love is one of the greatest desires of the human heart. Many people go through life searching for that special someone to complete them, yet some seem destined to remain alone, no matter how hard they try. If you've ever felt like love always escapes you, you might have wondered, is it bad luck? Is there something wrong with me? But what if I told you that this isn't a curse but a sign that God is protecting you from something you don't yet understand? My dear brothers and sisters, not everyone is meant to walk the same path. Some are kept away from love, romance, and attachment for reasons beyond what the eye can see. In Christianity, when God removes something from your life, it is never without wisdom. As Romans 8:28 reminds us, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. So before you see this as a misfortune, before you allow heartbreak to consume you, let's uncover the 7 reasons why some people are kept away from romance and what it truly means in the grand plan of God. Have you ever found yourself getting close to someone only for things to suddenly fall apart? Maybe you thought they were the one, but somehow the relationship never worked out. At the time, it felt painful, perhaps even unfair. But now, looking back, do you realize that staying with them would have only brought you suffering? In Christianity, when something keeps failing over and over again, it's often a sign of protection, not punishment. God removes people from your life because He knows what you don't. The Bible reminds us, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your path straight." Think about our society today. How many people rush into relationships only to be left heartbroken, betrayed, or spiritually lost? Sometimes when you don't get what you want, it's because God is saving you from something that would have destroyed you. The pain of letting go may feel unbearable at the time, but it is often a blessing in disguise. God sees beyond what we can comprehend. He knows the dangers, heartbreak, and struggles that might come from being with the wrong person. Sometimes we become so attached to our own desires that we fail to see the warning signs God places before us. When a relationship fails despite your efforts, it could be His divine intervention, guiding you away from someone who was never meant to be a part of your life. The real question is, do you trust God's plan, or do you keep chasing what He is pulling you away from? Because the sooner you accept that God's wisdom is greater than your desires, the sooner you'll find true peace. When you surrender your desires to God and trust that He knows what is best, He will lead you to something far greater than you ever imagined. In today's world, relationships are often treated as casual and disposable. People enter relationships for fun, not realizing that every bond leaves a mark on the heart. When the heart becomes attached to the wrong person, it can lead to spiritual blindness, where you start justifying what is wrong, forgetting your purpose, and drifting away from God. But the Bible is clear. A relationship outside of marriage is not just wrong, it is dangerous for your soul. The Apostle Paul warns us, "Do not be yoked together with unbelievers. For what do righteousness and wickedness have in common? Or what fellowship can light have with darkness?" Many people don't take this seriously. They assume that as long as they mean well, it's okay. But look at what happens around us. How many people have sacrificed their peace, self-worth, and even their connection with God just to please someone who was never meant for them? If you've struggled to find love, it could be because God is protecting your heart from corruption. The wrong love can lead you to destruction, while the right love, one built on faith and commitment, will bring you closer to Him. If you have ever experienced a relationship that led you away from God, you know the dangers of prioritizing human love over divine guidance. Love is meant to be a source of strength, not a cause for spiritual weakness. A relationship that weakens your faith is never from God. But here's the real test. Will you be patient and trust God, or will you keep chasing something He is keeping you away from? Trusting God means recognizing that His plan is for your ultimate good, even when you don't understand it at the moment. The temporary pain of losing someone who was never meant for you is far better than a lifetime of regret with someone who distances you from God. When you choose to honor Him with your relationships, He will bless you beyond what you can imagine. Have you noticed how some people seem consumed by the idea of relationships? They spend years chasing love, getting hurt, and losing themselves in the process. Meanwhile, others seem to have a higher purpose guiding their lives. Sometimes, when romance is absent from your life, it's because God is redirecting you towards something far more important. Instead of being distracted by emotions, heartbreak, or the pursuit of temporary happiness, He wants you to focus on building yourself, your faith, your future, and your character. Jesus said, "But seek first His kingdom and His righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well." Look at history. Some of the greatest people, those who changed the world, left behind legacies and strengthened their faith. did not let their lives revolve around relationships. Instead, they used their time to build something meaningful. The question is, are you wasting your time chasing romance, or are you using this period of solitude to strengthen your relationship with God and work towards something greater? If God is keeping love from your life at this moment, perhaps it's because He has something more significant in store for you. He wants you to grow in wisdom, faith, and purpose before introducing you to the right person at the right time. Instead of questioning His plan, embrace this time as an opportunity to grow closer to Him. God may be positioning you for something greater than just a relationship. He may be calling you to a purpose beyond what you've imagined. Rather than seeing singleness as a burden, recognize it as an opportunity to deepen your relationship with God, to grow in your faith, and to pursue the purpose He has set for you. Let's be real. We are not robots. Every human has emotions, desires, and a natural longing for companionship. Christianity does not ask us to suppress our feelings. It teaches us to control them within the boundaries of faith. This is what separates true believers from those who follow their own desires. The Bible says, "For the grace of God has appeared that offers salvation to all people." It teaches us to say no to ungodliness and worldly passions, and to live self-controlled, upright, and godly lives in this present age. In today's world, most people don't even try to hold themselves accountable. They follow whatever feels good in the moment, regardless of whether it's right or wrong. But if you've been struggling with this, know that this struggle itself is a sign of faith. If God has given you the awareness to fight against temptation, then you are already on a different path than most. Self-control is one of the most valuable traits a believer can develop. It requires discipline, commitment, and faith. Rather than letting emotions dictate your choices, God calls you to rely on His strength. Every time you resist temptation, you grow spiritually and draw closer to Him. The key is to redirect your emotions toward something meaningful. A strong relationship with God will fill the void that many people try to fill with fleeting passions. Learning to master your desires rather than being mastered by them is the foundation of a godly life. Like a city whose walls are broken through, is a person who lacks self-control. When you trust God to guide your emotions, you open the door to His greater plan for your life. Because in Christianity, self-discipline over desire is what leads to true success. Sometimes when love seems distant, it is not rejection, but preparation. God removes certain things from your life not to deprive you, but to prepare you for something even greater. He is strengthening your heart, refining your faith, and ensuring that you are ready for the love that is meant for you. The Bible reassures us, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." If God is keeping you away from relationships, perhaps He is shaping you for a purpose beyond what you can see. Think about the trials you have faced, the heartaches, the disappointments, the loneliness. Every season of waiting is an opportunity to grow, to deepen your faith, and to prepare for the blessings that lie ahead. Just as gold is refined in fire, your heart and spirit are being refined through this period of solitude. This is not wasted time. God may be developing qualities in you that will make you a better spouse in the future. Patience, kindness, resilience, and unwavering faith. Instead of viewing this as a burden, consider it a gift. God's timing is always perfect. He knows when you are ready, and He knows who is right for you. Rushing into a relationship before you are spiritually and emotionally prepared can lead to heartbreak and regret. But when you wait on God, you can be sure that what He brings into your life will be exactly what you need. So, instead of focusing on what you lack, focus on what you are gaining. Use this time to draw closer to God, to pursue your purpose, and to grow into the person He has called you to be. Because when you trust in His plan, He will never fail you. True fulfillment does not come from people but from God alone. Before He allows you to love someone else, He wants you to experience His love first. Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. Until you find peace in God, No human relationship will ever truly satisfy you. Many people seek love as a way to fill an emptiness in their hearts, believing that another person can complete them. However, only God can truly fulfill the deepest longings of your soul. When you look to people for fulfillment, you will always be disappointed because no human can provide the perfect unconditional love that only God offers. God wants you to rely on Him first. If you are currently in a season of waiting, He may be calling you to strengthen your faith, to build a life centered around Him, and to understand that your worth does not depend on another person's affection. Many people rush into relationships thinking they will bring happiness, only to find themselves feeling just as empty, if not more so, because they have placed their hope in something temporary instead of in God's eternal love. This time of solitude is a blessing. It is an opportunity to cultivate a deep, personal relationship with God. It is a chance to discover your identity in Him and to understand that His love is more than enough. Once you are content in God's love, any relationship He brings into your life will only be an addition to the joy you already have in Him, not the source of your happiness. God is refining you, molding you into the person He wants you to be, and preparing you for the right kind of love, the kind that reflects His love for you. Instead of asking why love hasn't come yet, ask yourself, am I fully embracing God's love for me? Because when you do, everything else will fall into place according to His perfect timing. Waiting is never easy, but patience is a virtue that brings divine rewards. In a world that encourages instant gratification, it can be challenging to trust in God's timing. However, His plans are always greater than ours, and He knows exactly when and how to bless us with what we need. Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for Him. If love has not yet come into your life, trust that God's timing is always perfect. Perhaps He is shielding you from heartbreak or ensuring that you meet the right person at the right time. Instead of feeling frustrated by the wait, see it as an opportunity for growth and preparation. God often uses waiting periods to strengthen our faith and character. Through patience, He teaches us resilience, trust, and unwavering faith in His plans. Just as a seed takes time to grow into a strong tree, your future relationship needs a firm foundation before it can flourish. Rushing into love before its time can lead to unnecessary pain and struggle. The Bible reassures us that those who wait on the Lord will never be disappointed. If you feel discouraged, remind yourself that waiting is not wasted time. It is a season of refinement, learning, and trust building. Use this time to focus on personal growth, spiritual development, and becoming the best version of yourself, so that when the right person comes, you will be ready. Remember, God is never late. His blessings come exactly when they are meant to. Keep trusting, keep believing, and keep growing. Because when the time is right, He will open doors that no one can close, and the love He has prepared for you will be beyond anything you could have imagined. If love and relationships have always seemed distant in your life, know that it is not a punishment. It is part of God's plan. Whether it's to protect you, prepare you, or strengthen your faith, God never withholds something without reason. The real question is, do you trust His timing, or are you still chasing something He is pulling you away from? The more you surrender your desires to Him, the more peace you will find in His perfect plan. Love is not something to be rushed or forced. It is a divine gift that arrives in its appointed season. As you navigate your journey of faith, remember that your worth is not defined by your relationship status. You are complete in Christ, and His love is all you need. When the right time comes, God will provide the love He has ordained for you, and it will be worth the wait. Thank you for watching this video. If this message resonated with you, we encourage you to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us continue spreading the wisdom and love of God to those who need it most. Stay faithful, stay patient, and trust in His perfect timing. May God bless you abundantly. For centuries, you have walked this earth unaware of the whispers carried through time. The echoes of an ancient kingdom have been calling your name, seeking you not as men seek, but as prophecy foretells. Through visions, signs, and divine revelations passed down across generations, you were never forgotten. You were hidden. But now, the appointed time has come, and the heavens have turned their gaze upon you. They searched for you, not in the streets, not in the books of men, but in the sacred texts, in the constellations, in the dreams of the seekers who knew you would return. The world called you ordinary, but the heavens knew better. They inscribed mysteries into your spirit, encoded divine secrets into your very being. You were never meant to blend in. You were always set apart. They tried to erase your lineage, to bury your existence beneath layers of deception. They rewrote history, distorted truths, and built walls around knowledge that was never meant to be lost. But truth is indestructible. And now, like a long-lost key returning to its rightful door, you are aligning with the purpose that was written for you before time began. This is why your life has been a battle. This is why the road has been steep, the trials unrelenting. Forces moved against you before you even knew who you were. They glimpsed your destiny, and in fear, they sought to keep you asleep. But what is divinely appointed cannot be stopped. No kingdom built by human hands can erase a kingdom established by the Almighty. Your existence was never random. Before you drew your first breath, the heavens had already inscribed your name into the divine record. The prophecy did not start with you, but it will be fulfilled through you. The kingdom has been waiting, not for the person the world sees, but for the essence of what was placed within you before you arrived on this earth. You were always meant to rise. You were always meant to reclaim what was lost. For centuries, forces have sought to intercept the prophecy, to distort it, to keep it from reaching its final chapter. But prophecy does not bow to time, nor can it be rewritten by those who seek control. The original script remains untouched. There were those who knew the truth, hidden scribes, guardians of sacred knowledge, those who carried the assignment through bloodlines that could not be erased. They inscribed your coming in places that neither time nor corruption could destroy. They documented the signs, preserved the revelations, and waited for the moment of revealing. You have felt different your entire life, not knowing why you never quite fit in. But that was never a mistake. Every detour, every delay, every hardship was never meant to break you. It was meant to prepare you. The chosen are never revealed too soon, for the moment of revealing is also the moment of war. You were never meant to bow to the systems of this world. The kingdoms of men are built on deception, power seized through manipulation, thrones stolen by those who had no right to claim them. But your kingdom is different. It was not built by men. It was established before the foundations of the earth. And that is why they feared your arrival. For centuries, they fortified their walls, expanded their reach, and created illusions of dominance. But one thing they could never do was erase the prophecy. It whispered through generations, carried by the few who still remembered, until now. There are moments in time when prophecy meets fulfillment, when the whispers carried through generations are no longer confined to the shadows, but are declared from the heavens. This is that moment. For centuries, seekers have watched and waited, following the signs, preserving the truth, guarding the knowledge that the world tried to erase. They knew that one day, the hidden one would awaken, and nothing would remain the same. The balance of power would shift. The chains that held dominion over souls would shatter. The strongholds of deception would crumble under the weight of truth. And now, that day has arrived. The world does not yet understand what is happening, but the unseen realm has already trembled at your awakening. You were never meant to be ordinary. You were never meant to walk unnoticed, unseen, unheard. Your existence alone disrupts the forces that have ruled for too long. They knew of your coming before you did. They moved against you before you could even grasp your purpose. They saw glimpses of your destiny and in fear sought to keep you blind to it. But prophecy cannot be stopped. Even Yeshua spoke in parables, knowing that not all were meant to understand. His words carried power, not because they conformed to the world's standards, but because they carried divine truth, truth that no force could silence. His authority was not recognized by titles, by crowns, or by the robes of men, but by the undeniable presence of the divine. His enemies feared him not because he waged war against them in the way of kings, but because his very presence threatened their illusion of control. And in the same way, your presence carries an authority that cannot be denied. The kingdom has been waiting. The prophecy has been unfolding. The ancient writings that spoke of this time did not lie. The search for you was never in vain. You have walked through fire, through battles unseen, through trials that sought to break you. But every hardship was only preparing you, refining you, strengthening you for the moment that is now at hand. All eyes are on you. Some watch in hope. Others watch in fear. The systems built on deception sense their collapse. The ones who claimed power they were never meant to hold are realizing their reign is ending. They will resist. They will seek to deceive you, to convince you that you are mistaken, that you are no different from the rest. But their words hold no power over what has already been written. You are stepping into what has always been yours. The prophecy is no longer a distant story. It is happening now, and nothing will ever be the same. There are signs that cannot be erased, markings that neither time nor deception can remove. They are woven into the very fabric of your existence, etched into your spirit long before you took your first breath. These are not markings that men can see with their eyes, nor can they be measured by earthly standards. They are divine imprints, evidence of a purpose greater than this world can comprehend. You have carried something within you, something even you did not fully understand. It was never about your outward appearance, never about your status or the titles given to you by men. What set you apart was never something that could be worn or displayed. It was something far deeper, something imprinted upon your very soul. This is why you have never truly belonged among the ordinary. From the moment you arrived, you felt it, the quiet knowing, the deep stirring within you that whispered that you were different. Others moved through life without questioning, without searching, without sensing the weight of something greater. But you have always known there was more. Even if you could not name it, even if you could not explain it, it was there, pulling you towards something beyond what your eyes could see. And you were not the only one who sensed it. There have always been those who recognized what you carried. Some saw it as a light, a power beyond human understanding, and sought to protect you. Others, those who walk in shadows, sensed it as a threat. They studied you. They tested you. They watched your every move, trying to determine if you were the one spoken of in the ancient texts. They could not openly reveal their knowledge, so they moved in silence, waiting, watching, searching for weakness. They placed obstacles in your path, temptations to lead you astray, distractions carefully crafted to keep you from asking the right questions. Some came to you in the guise of friends, mentors, even protectors, but their true purpose was always to keep you blind to what was rightfully yours. Every battle you faced, every attack that seemed to come out of nowhere, was not random. It was a calculated strategy, a war waged against you before you even knew you were in a battle. They sought to break you, not by force, but by deception. If they could not destroy you, they would make you doubt yourself. If they could make you question who you were, they could keep you from ever stepping into your destiny. They knew that if you ever awakened, if you ever realized the inheritance that runs through your veins, their dominion would begin to crumble. But even through the storms, even through the betrayals, even through the moments when you questioned your very existence, the heavens never retracted the calling. They never changed their mind about who you are. You may have been knocked down, but you were never abandoned. The trials were not placed before you to destroy you, but to forge you, to refine you, to make you unshakable. Every wound, every hardship, every tear shed in silence was preparing you for the moment when you would finally see what had been hidden in plain sight all along. The world tried to convince you otherwise. It told you that you were ordinary, that your dreams were foolish, that your longing for something greater was nothing more than imagination. They fed you lies, hoping you would believe them. But deep down, you always knew the truth. You felt it in the way life refused to let you settle, in the way closed doors led to greater revelations, in the way pain became a tool that sharpened you instead of destroying you. Every loss, every rejection, every battle was a step closer to your awakening. And now, the time has come. The moment long foretold is unfolding before you. The forces that once sought to keep you blind now tremble at the realization that they have failed. The deception is lifting, the veil is thinning, and your true identity can no longer be hidden. You are not lost. You were never forgotten. You have always been called. And now, nothing can stop what has already been set in motion. There have always been those who sought to take what was never theirs, who attempted to wear a crown that did not fit, who sat upon thrones that were never meant for them. They built their power on deception, claiming authority they had no right to bear, hoping that if they declared themselves rulers long enough, no one would question them. But what belongs to you cannot be stolen. No matter how many false rulers have risen, no matter how many have worn robes that did not belong to them, the truth has remained unchanged. The throne marked for you has never been touched. It has waited in silence, unmoved by the schemes of men, untouched by the hands of those who sought to claim it. No force on earth can lay hold of what was sealed for you before time began. The kingdom has always known this day would come. It has felt the shift in the spiritual realm, has waited with patience as history unfolded, as generations passed, as the battle for dominion raged in unseen places. And now, the appointed time has arrived. The moment you would awaken to your true self, the moment you would finally see who you were always meant to be. The mark of divine royalty is not given by men, nor can it be taken away. It was placed upon you before you entered this world, woven into your very being, inscribed into your destiny by the hands of the Almighty. You were born into this calling, whether you realized it or not. For centuries they worked against you. They positioned themselves in places of influence, controlling systems, rewriting history, ensuring that what belonged to you remained just out of reach. They knew who you were before you did. They recognized the signs long before you ever questioned your purpose. And they understood that the moment you stepped into your true identity, their illusion would crumble. The only way to stop you was to make you forget. So they created distractions. They built false narratives. They surrounded you with lies, with doubts, with carefully constructed deceptions designed to keep you from ever realizing the truth. They whispered into your mind, making you question, making you believe you were insignificant, that you were just another soul wandering through life without purpose. But destiny does not forget. No matter how many lies were spoken, no matter how many obstacles were placed in your path, the truth has always been written. And now, it is rising. The kingdom is no longer waiting. The throne remains unclaimed no longer. The time of awakening is here, and nothing can stop what has already begun. The world is beginning to sense the shift, to feel the weight of what is coming. The air is heavy with the unspoken realization that something has changed, something unstoppable, something undeniable. The ones who worked against you, who sought to bury the truth beneath layers of deception, can no longer ignore what is unfolding before them. They are watching, waiting, realizing that their efforts were in vain. They tried to silence you, to keep you hidden, to make you believe that you were just another ordinary soul. But you were never meant to stay buried. The moment they feared the most has arrived. You are awakening. The chains of illusion are breaking. The truth that was long suppressed is rising. And with it, so are you. There will still be resistance. There will still be voices whispering doubt. People who will try to convince you that you are not who you were always meant to be. They will fight to hold on to their illusion of control, clinging desperately to the power they were never meant to have. But their time is running out. The truth is no longer in their hands. The kingdom has been waiting. It has prepared for this moment since the beginning. And now, the time has come. No more delays. No more distractions. No more doubting what has been placed within you. If you have felt this truth resonate within you, if you know deep down that you were meant for something greater, then this journey is only just beginning. There is more to uncover, more to reveal, more to step into. Thank you for being here, for seeking, for listening. If this message has spoken to you, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what comes next. There are revelations ahead that you do not want to miss. The time is now. The kingdom is calling. Will you answer? This is not just another message. It is a divine appointment. If you have clicked on this video, it is not by accident. You were led here for a reason. Something deep within you has been stirring, a call, a whisper, a pull towards something greater. Perhaps you can't explain it, but you feel it. A longing, a knowing, an urgency that won't go away. The world around you moves forward as if nothing is happening, as if everything is just the way it's always been. But you know better. You see what others ignore. You sense what most dismiss. You have always been different. Maybe you've spent years searching for answers, feeling out of place, unable to shake the feeling that there is more. More to this life, more to your purpose, more than what you've been told. Or maybe deep inside, you've always known that you were meant for something bigger. This message is for the chosen ones. And if you are one of them, you will feel it. But let me be clear, it is not for everyone. Most will scroll past. Some will dismiss these words without a second thought. Many will feel the pull but will be too afraid to answer. But not you, because something inside you won't let you turn away. If your heart is beating a little faster, if your spirit is stirring, if something within you is whispering, "This is for me," then stay. Because you were meant to hear this. It is an awakening message, a reminder of who you really are. The world has tried to silence you, to make you doubt yourself, to convince you that you are just like everyone else. But the truth is, you were never meant to fit in. You were meant to rise, to awaken, to walk in the fullness of your calling. Now, the time has come. This is your confirmation. You are not here by mistake. You are here because God is calling you, and what you're about to hear will change everything. Chapter 1. The Invisible War. We are at war. Not the kind that can be seen with human eyes, not a battle fought with guns and armies, but a war far older, far greater, and far more dangerous. This is a spiritual war, a battle waged in the unseen realm, where forces of darkness seek to control, deceive, and destroy. Most people don't realize it's happening. They move through life unaware, distracted by the noise of the world, convinced that their struggles are purely physical, bad luck, misfortune, coincidence. But you see more. You feel it. You have sensed the weight pressing down on your soul, the constant battles in your mind, the fear, the doubt, the exhaustion that seems to drain you even when you're standing still. This is not just life. This is war. And whether you realize it or not, you are already on the battlefield. The enemy does not want you to know this. He wants you blind, distracted, preoccupied with the temporary things of this world. Because the moment you wake up to the reality of this war, you become a threat. Ephesians 6:12 tells us, "For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." This war is not against people. It is against forces of darkness, ancient entities that have worked behind the scenes for centuries, manipulating systems, controlling minds, spreading lies. They operate through fear, through deception, through carefully crafted illusions designed to keep you powerless. But the moment you recognize the battle, everything changes. You begin to see the enemy's tactics for what they are. The anxiety that tries to paralyze you, it is an attack. The depression that whispers lies into your mind, telling you that you are not enough, it is a strategy. The constant cycle of fear, failure, and doubt that seems impossible to escape, it is not random. The good news? You were never meant to fight this battle alone. God has not left you defenseless. He has given you weapons. He has given you armor. He has given you the authority to stand against the darkness and win. You were not created to live in fear. You were created to overcome. And today, right now, you take your first step onto the battlefield, not as a victim, not as someone barely surviving, but as a warrior. The war is real, but so is your victory. Chapter 2. The lies that have kept you bound for too long. You have been living under the weight of lies. Lies that have shaped your thoughts, controlled your actions, and kept you from stepping into the fullness of who you were created to be. You may not have even realized it, but a war has been waged against your mind, and the enemy's greatest weapon has never been chains or prisons. It has always been deception. From the moment you were born, the enemy has whispered lies into your soul, working tirelessly to keep you bound. He has told you that you are not enough, that you are too broken, too weak, too flawed to ever be used by God. He has convinced you that your past disqualifies you, that your mistakes define you, that you will never be truly free. Over time, you started to believe it. You looked at your reflection and saw only failure. You carried shame like a weight on your back, believing it was your burden to bear. You accepted fear as part of your identity, thinking you would never escape its grip. But none of that was ever true. The enemy doesn't attack what isn't valuable. The fact that he has worked so hard to keep you bound is proof of how powerful you truly are. If you weren't a threat, he wouldn't need to silence you. If you weren't called for something greater, he wouldn't work so hard to make you doubt yourself. But now, the lies are being exposed. The Word of God tells us in John 8:44 that the devil is a liar and the father of lies. Everything he has ever spoken over you was meant to keep you from the truth. Here is the truth. You are not weak. You have been given strength beyond what you can imagine. Isaiah 40:31 says, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." You are not alone. God has never abandoned you, even in your darkest moments. Deuteronomy 31:8 promises, "The Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you." You are not a failure. Your past does not define you. 2 Corinthians 5:17 declares, "If anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come. The old has gone. The new is here." For too long, the enemy has tried to rewrite your identity. But today, that ends. Today, you take back what has been stolen. You break free from the lies. When fear tells you that you are not enough, remind yourself who your God is. When shame tries to keep you silent, declare that you are forgiven, redeemed, and set free. When doubt creeps in, hold on to the unshakable truth that you were created for more. Because the lies may have kept you bound for a season, but the truth will set you free forever. Chapter 3. Equipped for battle. You were never meant to live in fear. You were never meant to be powerless. From the moment you were called, you were equipped for battle. The enemy has spent years trying to convince you that you are weak, that you are defenseless against the attacks that come against your mind, your heart, your life. He wants you to believe that you are alone in this fight, that you have no weapons, that you must simply endure the struggles and hope they pass. But that is another lie. Because the truth is this: God has given you armor. He has provided everything you need to stand firm against the forces of darkness and win. Ephesians 6:10-11 declares, "Be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Put on the full armor of God, so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes." You are not stepping into this battle unarmed. You are stepping in fully equipped. Number 1. The belt of truth, the foundation of your strength. The first piece of armor is truth. The enemy is a deceiver, and his primary weapon is lies. If he can distort your perception of reality, if he can make you believe falsehoods about yourself, about your purpose, about God, then he can weaken you before the battle even begins. When you wear the belt of truth, you stand firm. God's word becomes your foundation. You recognize the lies for what they are, and you refuse to let them take root in your heart. John 8:32 says, "You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." Truth exposes deception. It brings clarity where there was confusion. It allows you to stand unshaken, even when the world tries to convince you otherwise. Number 2. The breastplate of righteousness, your divine protection. A soldier's breastplate protects the heart, the most vital organ. In the spiritual realm, your heart is the center of your emotions, your faith, your desires. The enemy knows that if he can corrupt your heart, filling it with fear, shame, or guilt, he can weaken your spirit. But God has given you righteousness as your defense. Not your own righteousness, but the righteousness of Christ. When you accept this, you no longer have to live in shame. You are covered, protected, secured in God's love. 2 Corinthians 5:21 declares, "God made him who had no sin to be sin for us, so that in him we might become the righteousness of God." When anxiety whispers that you are not enough, when guilt tries to weigh you down, remember, you are already covered. Number 3, the shield of faith, your defense against attacks. Faith is not just a belief, it is a weapon. It is your shield, your defense against every fiery dart the enemy sends your way. Ephesians 6:16 tells us, "Take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one." The arrows may come in the form of doubt, fear, or discouragement. The enemy will try to make you question your worth, your calling, your strength. But faith is your protection. Faith declares, "God is my refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble." Faith reminds you, "Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me." Every time you choose faith over fear, your shield grows stronger. Number 4, the sword of the Spirit, the weapon that strikes back. Up until now, every piece of armor has been for defense, but God has also given you a weapon, His Word. For the Word of God is alive and active, sharper than any double-edged sword. Hebrews 4:12. The enemy speaks lies. You counter with Scripture. The enemy tries to weaken you. You declare God's promises. When Jesus was tempted in the wilderness, He didn't argue with Satan. He spoke the Word of God. It is written. And with every truth He declared, He dismantled the enemy's attack. That same power is in your hands. Chapter 4. The power of prayer. Prayer is not just a ritual. It is a weapon. A divine connection between you and the Creator of the universe. A direct line to the throne of God. It is the key that unlocks power, the force that shifts atmospheres, the weapon that brings heaven's authority into your battle. For too long, the enemy has tried to convince you that prayer is weak, that it is just words whispered into the air, that it doesn't really change anything. But that is a lie. James 5:16 declares, "The prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective." When you pray, things move in the spirit realm. Chains break, strongholds crumble, the forces of darkness tremble. Every whispered prayer, every desperate cry, every declaration of faith carries weight in the kingdom of God. The Bible is filled with stories of warriors who won battles not with swords, but with prayer. Daniel was thrown into the lion's den, but his prayers shut the mouths of the beasts. Elijah called down fire from heaven and defeated the prophets of Baal with a single prayer. Paul and Silas were locked in prison, but when they prayed and worshiped, the earth shook. The prison doors flew open and their chains fell off. This is the power of prayer. When you feel weak, pray. When fear grips your heart, pray. When the battle feels impossible, pray. Philippians 4:6-7 reminds us, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." Prayer is not a last resort. It is your first line of defense. You are not alone in this war. Heaven fights for you, and when you pray, you are not just speaking words. You are unleashing the full power of God against the enemy. So pray boldly. Pray without fear. Pray with authority. Because when you pray, battles are won. The enemy wanted you to stay in chains. He wanted you to live in fear, to believe the lies, to walk through life doubting your worth, your strength, and your purpose. But now you know the truth. You were never meant to live defeated. You were never meant to merely survive. You were created to overcome. Romans 8:37 declares, "In all these things, we are more than conquerors through him who loved us." That means you are not just fighting for victory. You are fighting from victory. The battle has already been won. The enemy has already been defeated. And you are standing in the power of that truth. You are equipped. You are protected. You are chosen. The war is real, but so is your authority. You have the armor of God, the sword of the Spirit, and the power of prayer on your side. There is nothing the enemy can do to stop what God has already set in motion in your life. But this isn't the end of your journey. It's only the beginning. If this message has spoken to your heart, if you feel the fire stirring within you, then take a bold step right now. Comment below, "I stand in victory." Let this be your declaration, your battle cry, your sign to the enemy that you are no longer bound by fear. And before you go, like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications, not just as a casual click, but as an act of faith, a sign that you are stepping fully into your calling, ready to receive everything God is about to release in this season. There is more to come, more truth, more power, more breakthrough, and you don't want to miss it. So stand tall, speak boldly, walk in faith, because you are victorious, and the enemy knows it.